Hey, Merry Christmas, everybody, wherever you're watching this. This is going out live on In Your Head Wrestling Podcast and Without Your Head Horror Podcast. And I'm going to open up a couple of gifts that came in the mail today. I think some other stuff may be at my post office box, but I did not get there today. All right, so we're going to open these up. And then tomorrow, it'll be a Christmas miracle. There will be a live In Your Head podcast on IYH Wrestling, and I will be talking about AEW Dynamite, and we're going to lead into the AEW pay-per-view. And then Sunday, I'll be on with Earl Skakel, stand-up comedian, and we will be reviewing the AEW pay-per-view. Obasta, hell yeah, In Your Head Christmas, exactly, Obasta. We've got Vimarino, Anthony Chobos, Avatar. It was awesome. And the Wendy's. Hell yeah. Did you get yourself a Baconator? All right, folks. So sorry there was no In Your Head this week. Intro was not around. I was going to do one tonight, but I wasn't home to watch Dynamite live. So I figure we'll do it Thursday on Christmas. I'll be going out for lunch for Christmas to our favorite Chinese restaurant, my mom and friends of the family. And then later in the day, I'll figure out the exact time, and we'll do a live In Your Head. So if you're around, after the festivities over, after you open presents, come on in, talk to Jackie Jones, Nasty Neil, and we will talk wrestling. Vimarino, tonight I'm just going to open up some presents at the moment. But tomorrow night on the wrestling channel, IYH Wrestling, we will be talking wrestling. And then normally, if you're watching this on Without Your Head, we talk horror movies. All right, here we go. This was sent in. I don't know who. Let's find out. I believe it was Melisha. Boom! What is this? Arcade Fun. Arcade Fun. It's a portable game console with 2,000 games. Very cool. I've not seen this. This looks like it would be fun. People know I haven't gamed since like Dig Dug and Cubert. So this is like the old school video games. Who is this like Nintendo or Atari? Enjoy 200 classic games in a compact and lightweight design. Choose from retro arcade games, puzzles, shooting, racing, fighting, adventure, and more. Great while traveling, camping, commuting, or simply relaxing anywhere. Plus, you can easily connect your television for an even bigger experience. Very cool. Thank you, Militia. I will play this. I assume it takes batteries or maybe you charge it up. I don't think it's chargeable. Yeah, rechargeable battery. All right, very cool. What is up next? This is, I don't want to show addresses here. But, well, this one's from Amazon. I think this is from Hope. But I could be incorrect. A gift, yeah, it is. A gift from you, one horror and one collectible geek to another. Happy holidays from Hope. Well, thank you, Hope. Oh, sweet. Svengali. We got a Svengali retro action figure here. That's very cool. This will go up here. Once I take down all the holiday decorations, we'll make some new room. Oh my God, look, he's got a chicken. I actually have that same chicken around here somewhere. I don't know where it is. My brother hates it because it squeaks. I have it around here somewhere. Maybe not just on me. But there we go. Sven Guli. I'm sorry. I think I said Svengali. Sven Guli. Very nice. Thank you very much. I love it. A great gift. I appreciate that. I believe this is just telling me the same thing. All right. Thank you, Hope. Yes, Sven Guli. with rubber chicken for adults. For adults only. Only those 2 gifts. I think I have some more at my P.O. box, but I didn't get to the P.O. box today because it closed early for Christmas Eve. So I'll have to, if any more came, I will open them after Christmas. So I subscribed and like live. Thank you, Kitty. I appreciate that. How many more? Like I said, just those 2. But I wanted to come on and wish everyone Merry Christmas. And I don't normally do this, but this is going to both my YouTube channels. So this is on Without Your Head, the horror channel, and In Your Head. So I'm not sure where you're watching this from, but if you're on Without Your Head, we'll be live next Thursday with the folks from New Fears Evil, which we're going to do that on New Year's Day itself. So a week from tomorrow, we return with New Fears Evil. We might do something before then, too. That's a week away. That'll be a good time. We're going to have the writers and directors of New Fears Evil, maybe some of the cast on the show. And on In Your Head, tomorrow we'll be live talking wrestling and counting down to the AEW pay-per-view. And for fans of Earl Skakel, me and Earl Skakel will be live Sunday, stand-up comedian Earl Skakel, and we will be reviewing the AEW pay-per-view. And then me and the Inchman OIB will return on Tuesday. A very Merry Christmas. Thank you, Kitty. I appreciate that. A Merry Christmas to you as well. You don't have to buy me anything. It's totally fine. Let's see here. Very nice young man with special needs. Thank you, Matt. It's subscribed and liked. That's what we like to see. So subscribe wherever you are watching here. Hit the like button. Share this out if you'd like to help support the channel. You can become a member. It starts only $3 a month. So anyone out there have any Christmas questions? So for horror fans out there, the new Silent Night, Deadly Night is out. I really enjoyed it. And I went in a little afraid because I love the original. I even just love the poster, and I love how angry it made people at the time. You know, I was like 9 or 10 when it came out. And I remember Siskel and Ebert, like they got very mad when or maybe I was younger, but I remember that Siskel and Ebert, they got really mad about this movie in particular. They were very mad about slashers in general, but they got really mad about Silent Night, Deadly Night because the poster shows, you know, a hand coming out of the chimney with an axe representing the killer Santa. And it's weird to think that people would get so upset about that because it's not that big of a deal now, really. I'm not saying you want to see a killer Santa, but we've seen so many killer Santas since then. And that wasn't even the first one, to be honest. There were killer Santas before that on the old Tales from the Crypt movie, the British movie. But maybe like a big poster of it wasn't around. But at the time, Siskel and Ebert, actually, they were telling like people the names of the producers. They're like basically doxing people before doxing was a term. It's very weird. But yeah, if you can go back and watch a lot of those old Siskel and Eberts, they did a whole special about slashers in general. They were not fans of slasher films. They would talk about like the how like the axes and the knives were like you know, phallic symbols and things. They were very upset about this. All right, good night, Kitty. Thank you for stopping by. So I interviewed the director of the new one. It's on Without Your Head. You can listen to that now. It's a very fun interview. And so I went into it a little like I was like, I don't know. I love the original. What am I going to think of this new one? Because the previous remake was not that great. I think it's 2012. Pretty dull movie. Pretty not very memorable at all. And the new one, I like that they did something new with it. Because I think if you remake something, you want to do something new. You don't want to just like, we're just going to redo the exact same movie. What really is the point? The other one already exists. So why do that? So they did something new. It's got a lot of people actually were comparing it to Venom, which is interesting. I compare it more to Dexter, but I can understand the Venom connection. with like the dark passenger kind of Dexter idea. And also he's well, I guess Venom's the same way, where they're both anti-heroes. The original Billy in the first movie is very sympathetic. This one, they took it a step forward and made him the anti-hero, which I dug. And there's some mystical elements of the movie, which the director, talked about how he wanted to put some Christmas magic into Silent Night, Deadly Night. I thought that worked. I thought all the characters, even like minor characters, were fun to see on camera, where they were either very likable people, like some older likable people, or very dislikable people. You're like, I want to see this person get murdered. So that was fun. A big massacre scene. So it had a very high death count, and like I said, a big, massacre, not just like a couple people getting killed, a full-on massacre. The title scenes, that they had like title cards in between the for the scenes. I thought that worked really well. So I liked it all around. A good cast. Everyone was really good in it. The voice of Charlie I thought was great. And both the leads were really good. So all around, I really didn't have any complaints. I liked it a lot. There might be a little CG in the blood, maybe my only complaint. Not so much. I can't think of a lot of Christmas related wrestling talk here for my wrestling fans out there, but Santa Claus, who was played by Balls Mahoney. For younger fans, you might not remember this, but Balls Mahoney, big ECW star. He had he had two runs. He did have a run later on when WWE bought ECW, but his first run in WWE, and this was coming off of his run, I believe, in Smoky Mountain. I think you went from Smoky Mountain to WWE and then to ECW. Maybe it's a little mixed up there, but it was pre Balls Mahoney, and he came in as part of the Ted DiBiase group. Not Money Inc., but when Ted DiBiase was a manager. But what was his group called? Honestly, I forget now. And he came in as Santa Claus. It was Santa Claus with an X, Santa Claus. And they were like, he's the opposite of Santa. He takes toys from the kids, and instead of red and white, he dressed in black and white. And it really went nowhere. He was around for, I think, he had like one kind of promo when he premiered, and then he might have wrestled like just a handful of times on Saturday morning, Superstars. And that was it. And then he was gone. Very, very strange. I don't know where you go with that, like after Christmas. Like, do you just have a Santa Claus character all year? It's very weird. I heard rumors that like it was going to be, I don't know if he was gonna change for like the season. Like, would he become like an evil Easter bunny? Or it was very weird. Probably not really well thought out. I don't think I don't know what you do with that, like besides a one-off. Like he debuts after Thanksgiving, you lead up to a one match at before Christmas, and then that's the end of Santa Claus. Maybe bring him back every year. I don't know, but we did never see him since. They never even brought him back for like a one-off appearance, I don't believe. He wasn't in like the gimmick battle royal or anything. And now, unfortunately, Balls Mahoney had passed away. But Balls Mahoney, really underrated wrestler, I think, because he was really known as a hardcore guy, like the really hard chair shots to the head. But he's a big dude who could really move around, was a good wrestler, and even though like the hardcore, the chair swinging freak stuff, like put him on the map, like I think it also hindered his career in a lot of ways, and some personal demons. But it's too bad him and Axel Rotten, and I think a lot of people just assume they were no good because they just wrestled what now they call like the mud show wrestling, or gimmick matches or death matches, but both were really talented guys. So Santa Claus. And then there's been a few Santas like that popped up throughout wrestling, like, was it Mick Foley was dressed as Santa once? Maybe Kane, different people throughout wrestling history. But I believe the only real Christmas character would be Santa Claus. And probably rightfully so. And I'm trying to think of other holiday themed wrestlers. So you'd have Santa Claus. Probably the most successful would be Halloween, the luchador, because he had wrestled for decades. So he had a run this Halloween. Everything else, I think, is kind of doomed to failure because it's like, what do you do after the holidays over? So you had Santa Claus, the gobbledygook, or the wrestling turkey. I don't know if there was anyone else, honestly. Was there ever a wrestling Uncle Sam character for like the 4th of July? You could maybe keep that up. I don't think there was a bunny for a brief period of time in WWE, but I don't know if he was necessarily the Easter bunny. I don't know. I don't think there's been any Valentine Day characters like a wrestling Cupid. That could be a possible gimmick. I don't know. Anybody else? Any other ideas? A wrestling tree for Arbor Day? I don't know. So we'll be live Thursday, a Christmas miracle for In Your Head. All right, guys, I'm just popping in and out, and we will see you soon. IYH Wrestling live Thursday, tomorrow, or today. Oh, no, tomorrow. Today, if you're watching this today, Thursday. I'm not sure the time yet, but I'll be back talking wrestling. I think it's just going to be me, but I'll open up the call lines. You can video in and talk wrestling with Jackie Jones. All right. Good night, everybody. Hey, Vagina Wrinkle's here. Merry Christmas, Vagina Wrinkle. I just opened a couple of gifts I got in the mail. We got a portable arcade from Militia. Thank you, Militia. And hey, Jonathan Jackson. And look at this. This was from Hope, the Sven Gulli action figure with a rubber chicken. Sven Gulli. Yeah, so I was talking a little wrestling there because I'm assuring this on both the wrestling and the horror movie page, and I was talking about, I don't know if you'd ever seen him, Vagina Wrinkle. Balls Mahoney, he was former guest on the show. He had a brief run in WWE as Santa Claus, and he was wrestling evil Santa Claus where he dressed in black and he stole gifts from the children instead of giving them out. It was not a great character, to be honest, but but it was around briefly. Tons of Christmas horror, though. I'm a huge fan of Christmas horror movies. They hold a special part in my place here, in my heart, somewhere. You get the idea. And the thing is, even the really rotten Christmas horror movies, like the movie Elves, I'll be honest, it's a rotten film. I enjoy it a lot. You've got Grizzly Adams, and the whole. If I explain what Elves is about, you'll just assume it's fantastic. It's not, but it sounds great. It's about an old Nazi who his plan to bring upon the earth the master race is to, it was like some kind of incestual sex with his granddaughter and these elves. Very weird, very weird. I'm not even sure why that would be the master race, because I think Nazis wanted really tall people. So I don't know why he'd want to mix with elves, and I don't think like they would want a master race of mixed blood either. So it's not a very well thought through plot, but it's an amazing film. And I also think they only had one glove. I don't think they built a complete elf like character. I think they had a face that you see and one hand. So you see one hand. You never see two hands. You just see one hand popping in and out, which I kind of like. I feel like I could do that. I could make, or I could buy a mask, maybe make a mask. My brother can make a mask, and I could have one hand. It's like, that's all we need. You don't need to see the rest of the monster. You just need to see the face, the mouth, and a hand. And you can just assume that it's got arms and legs and a body. That's all you need. Yeah, I would check it out. I recommend it. Hey, Melinda Magnus, hello. What's up? Oh, oh, oh. Merry Christmas, Stephen Butler up in Toronto. I'm about to watch Terrifier 3 again. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that goes. Now, sometimes, people they want to argue what's a Christmas horror movie, like the old Die Hard. And I actually stand by Die Hard being a Christmas movie, but you can argue whatever. And then sometimes, like, a movie will have like a Christmas tree and it's like, it's a Christmas, or it just happens to be set in Christmas. Does that make it a Christmas movie? Not necessarily. But Terrifier 3, Art the Clown is in the Santa suit. So it is canon. It is a Christmas horror movie. And he kills the Santa Claus. Spoiler alert, I'm sorry. And I agree, it's moved way up there in my list as one of the best Christmas horror movies. I should make a list. So it would be Terrifier 3 is on my list. The original Silent Night, Deadly Night. Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 is good too. I know Kaylee says it's better. I don't think it's better, but I do like it. I personally am a big fan of Silent Night, Deadly Night 5. Another crazy story where the guy builds, a living doll. And it's Mickey Rooney. Mickey Rooney's the villain. I wonder how that made him feel. He's like, he at one point, one of the most well-known celebrities, and he's, in like this B movie playing an evil toy maker. It's fantastic, though. I love it. Xmas on acid. Is that what he's saying about elves? Yeah, elves is nuts. Let's see here. But so you get those. I'm a big fan of Jack Frost. Not the Michael Keaton one. Yeah, I'll be honest, I've never seen the Michael Keaton one. But the Jack Frost horror movie about the killer snowman, you got the killer dies, his soul goes into a snowman. It's all you need. It's got a great shower snowman grape scene, as people like to use. Look, I'm not here saying I love to watch, sexual assault on film. But if you're going to do it, if you have it with a snowman with a carrot on his nose, you're good to go. The second one I like too. I don't think it's as well received, but I'm a fan. Black Christmas, obviously great. An actual, not because a lot of the Christmas horror movies are campy, but Black Christmas, the original one from the 70s, is a very dark, bleak movie. And I still think the image of the woman with the bag over her face is super creepy. Look, getting stabbed would suck, but we've seen lots of stabbings. There's something just more off-putting, I think. More disturbing seeing someone with the plastic bag over their face just sitting in the window. So that's a great one. There's some good ones recent years. Red Christmas, which is about an aborted baby that lives through the abortion and then comes back as a grown adult. It's all deformed to get its revenge. I'm sold. It's a great movie. I need to revisit Krampus. I don't remember liking it a lot, but I need to rewatch it. I think maybe I'd like it now. But A Christmas Horror Story, which also has a Krampus in it, I'm a big fan of. Anthology film, I'm a fan of anthology films. And you got William Shatner doing the wraparound stuff. I'm a fan. And you got a big battle scene between a big buffed out Krampus and Santa Claus. They do battle. They fight. I mean, you got to like that. He's got a big ass chain. Do you guys play Roblox? I don't know what that is, honestly. So no. I'm not a big gamer. I'm not anti-gaming. I haven't played. I assume if I started playing games again, it would eat up all my time, and I wouldn't have time to do a lot of the nonsense I want to do. I like and sub. Well, thank you, Melinda. We appreciate that. You can let us know what Roblox is. Maybe some of our other folks here know. Let's see. Salf made Terrifier 3. Yeah, Terrifier 3 is really good. I'm a fan. I like all the Terrifiers. So people who don't know, when the first Terrifier came out, super low budget movie. I think it was, I don't think 50,000, but it was a couple 100,000, I think. And I saw it because, doing the show, you get a lot of screeners. And when you get screeners, a lot of them are, is stuff that, like, whatever. Which makes it so much fun when you get something you're really into. Like, oh, shit. And it's all, mostly independent films I get to see. So I see Terrifier way before there's any buzz. I was like, shit, this is great. To me, the original Terrifier was like an 80s slasher if they didn't have to worry about the censors. So it's got like an 80s slashers feel to me, but it's a modern movie. But it's they're not trying to be, it's not 80s nostalgia, but to me it's a feel of like an 80s, not a campy slasher, but like a more like bleak slasher where it's still fun. But they didn't have to worry about like we're gonna have to cut this death scene down to 3 seconds or whatever. We can show whatever we want, so they go all out. So I know that a lot of people, even today, they're like, well, I don't. Even the people like Terrifier, sometimes they don't like Terrifier 1 as much because it doesn't have a really intricate story. But I actually think that really works in the movie because a lot of times when you watch slasher movies, you didn't care about that. Let's be honest. And let's also be honest. Does anyone watch any of the Friday the 13th movies because of their riveting plot line? No, you're watching it for Jason and you're watching it for the fun kills. Let's be honest. And you could say that about a lot of slashers. Now, there are exceptions, of course. I think A Nightmare on Elm Street, it is more, there is more to that. It's about the fun dialogue. But honestly, as you go on in the series, a lot of those too are about the fun kills. But there's also more plot in those. I'll give you that. But a lot of like the derivative slasher movies, there wasn't much of a plot. There was a killer going around killing some teens and young adults who were having sex, and that's it. There's a loose plot line on a lot of those, but it's really just so it's a movie. And most people don't give a shit about any of it. They just want to see the fun kills. So when they made Terrifier, in my mind, they're like, yeah, we know what people want from a slasher. And we're going to give that to them. We're going to get these really cool kills, and you got a handful of characters that you care about. In fact, I would argue you care more about the final girl in Terrifier than you do in a lot of 80 slasher movies. So I think it's wrongfully accused of not having this plot, this no plot and all this stuff. It doesn't have a backstory to Art, but I do not care. I think it works in the favor of the movie. Art the Clown just comes and arrives. He's a killer. You don't know why. You don't know who he is. And he kills people. And you don't need to know. As it goes on, we're starting to see some backstory. And that's cool because you couldn't do that for 4 movies and have nothing because then it would get tedious. So you got to explain who he is. But in the first movie, and they didn't know there'd be another one. And they definitely didn't know it would catch on the way it did. You just needed Art killing people. And he was killing people. And when he cuts a girl in half upside down, I mean, that's a fantastic scene. That not even just like modern horror. That's one of the best death scenes ever filmed in movies. So I saw it. I loved it. I think that no backstory to Art actually worked in the favor. Sometimes when you get too much of a backstory, you actually don't really care about him. If it turned out Art was, a nerd or whatever who got shunned by the girls, would that made the movie better? No, I don't think so. I think what made it, because there's got to be a reason why Art really got to people. Because we've seen killer clowns before in lots of things. Some of them people really dig. Some of them just, go away, whatever. We've seen gruesome kills. We've seen all these things. But there has to be a reason why Terrifier really has really stuck with people, because that first movie did not cost a lot. So why I'm going on about this. So I saw it. I loved that. I reached out to Damien Leone, David Howard Thornton, and the final girl from the first one, who I'm sorry to forget her name because she's great. And she's been on the show since then. And so they all came on, and it was a really cool interview. Right. And I'm not taking credit because the movie caught on with people, but right after that is really, because it was word of mouth. People like me saw it, and then other people saw it, and they start talking about it. and the thing blew up. And then the second one gets, a limited release. It was going to be a 2-day release, I believe. It friggin' killed at the theater. So then they extended it for the weekend, and they extended for another weekend, and it kept going, and it was a hit. It was still a fairly cheap movie. I believe it was under $1 million, and it made 10 or more million at the box office, which is unheard of for a movie on that level. And then you fast forward to the third one. The third one's a bigger budget, but it made over $100 million. It's freaking huge. So I have friends who are very anti-Terrifier. I have friends at festivals, which I think you should not be, like, you can hate the movie. You can dislike the movie. That's totally fine. That's your opinion. But I think that people that are anti the movie, especially other filmmakers, I don't like that attitude, because Terrifier did help other independent horror films get a chance at the theater. So if it wasn't for Terrifier, I don't think a lot of these smaller indie movies would have got a shot at the theater. Not all of them are great. You get like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Is it a great movie? Not really, no. But I think it got a shot at the theater because of Terrifier. Now, I also do get the idea that I've seen kind of some clones, especially at film festivals, mostly independent films, where they're like, we just want to make this killer who kills the final girl. You can do that, but to do that, you have to have a really special movie, I think. You have to have a great killer. There maybe has to be a reason why. So you can't just like try to mimic Terrifier and be like, well, we're gonna have a mean-spirited killer and they just kill the final girl. For one thing, it's already been done now. So if you're gonna do it again, you have to be special. It's like you can't just make a zombie movie just run of the mill. You have to have a new thing to it. So if you're gonna do that, you can't just like clone Terrifier. And also there is a point, like you can't be like, I'm gonna one up these kills, because they one up the girl getting cut in half to like this 13-minute death scene in part 2. At some point, can you keep topping yourself? I don't know. We'll find out. So I get some of the negativity, but for me, I'm a big fan of Terrifier, and it's also really cool to see another horror icon. Because look, we all love Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Leatherface, Jason Voorhees, but they've been around for decades, and we've seen Myers rebooted over and over again, and Leatherface same way. And I'm sure once like the legalities out of the way, we're going to see a new Jason Voorhees, and at some point I know we saw one, but I think we'll see another Freddy Krueger at some point. And then fast forward, we did get some new ones in the 90s, like Candyman and Pinhead. But we really hadn't had a like the slasher icon for a long, long time, a new one. So it's nice to see a bona fide new horror icon in Art the Clown, especially starting such a grassroots level, independent level, and that horror fans really got behind it and pushed it. As much as I like the Hatchet movies, like they're really cult. They have a cult following. Like you're not going to see Victor Crowley stuff at the Halloween store and stuff, but you see Art the Clown everywhere. It's pretty wild. I really didn't think you would see that. See Art the Clown at Five Below. So I think Art the Clown and honestly The Grabber from Black Phone, I think those are two modern day slashers that have gone on to iconic status. Oh, I also throw Ghostface in there too from Scream. Gotta go watch the OG Black Christmas. Yeah, the original Black Christmas is great. I'll be honest, I think I saw the first remake, but I never saw the second one. I remember the first one being really nothing, and I've heard nothing good about the newest one. Do you think the human soul exists? Wow, that's a very deep question for almost midnight here on Christmas Eve. So I'm not a religious man, but I've had many near-death experiences, and that does kind of change you. So here's a little story, Ron. And you probably just were being an ass, but here's a little story. years ago, I won't go into all this stuff, but I got sick, had part of my colon removed, many surgeries. And then after one of the surgeries, I started to bleed out. And I was at home. I had a visiting nurse. I had a wound vac that would suck out. You had a wound vac that would take out like stuff that would seep out of you instead of sewing you up because you're supposed to heal better that way. It was filled with bright red blood. And so the nurse got there. She's like, that's not good. She went to clean it and the blood started to spew out like in a movie. It was literally just spraying like this. And so she called 911 and I heard her telling my mom and my grandmother was alive at the time. She's like, I hope they get him to the hospital in time. And so I was in the hospital. I was in the car in the truck, the EMT truck. And the EMTs were telling me, just like in movies, like, stay with us, don't go to sleep, blah, blah, blah. And they're putting these trauma sheets on me, which they use for shotgun wounds or gunshot wounds. And I bled through 6 of those. And I came to the point, I knew I was dead. I was like, this is how I got, and it was a strange experience. I don't want to say religious experience, but it was a spiritual experience. And I knew I was dead, and I was not alarmed. I was not up. The only thing I was thinking about was like, I hated to think that my mom, I was hoping the nurse cleaned up my blood on the floor because I didn't want my mom and my grandmother to have to clean up my puddle of blood after I died. But besides that, I just felt warmth and acceptance that I was dead. Long story short, they got me to the hospital. I was drenched in blood, all my clothes. They had to cut me out of my clothes. And they saved my life. I had blood transfusions, bled out 2 more times after that. I was hospitalized. But since then, I've been good. But at that time, it was a bizarre experience that I never felt before. You hear people talk about near-death experiences, and you don't really understand it until it happens. Because other times when I had the emergency surgery, I was in a lot of pain and thought I was dying, but I was afraid. This time I was not afraid at all. There was no fear. It was just comfort and acceptance, and a feeling of I don't just mean like physically warm. I was just warm all over. It was an experience I'll never forget. Let's see. Hey, Safe. We got Safe here. I just ripped a whole 8-ball, amigo. Hell yeah. There you go. Am I cooked? Well, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. How do you feel about Trump? I'm not a Trump supporter. And I'll just say this: anybody connected to that stuff and should go to jail. Whoever it is, former presidents, current celebrities, whoever. Anthony behind the scenes, shocked to learn just now I wasn't subscribed to your channel. I thought I was already. Oh well, thank you, Anthony. I appreciate that. We like that. This chat is great. Yeah, I love anthologies too. Sorry, I'm behind on the chat here. I'm going to read through them quick. Trading Places is often forgotten Christmas copy. I agree. I'm a huge Trading Places fan. And it's weird because it's Eddie Murphy. I'm not a big fan of like, more modern Eddie Murphy movies where he's wearing like fat suits and stuff. But he had a great run of movies back in the day. Trading Places, 48 Hours, Beverly Hills Cop. Trading Places, super funny movie that I remember because I had HBO early on when I was a kid. My mom had it. And that was on all the time for whatever reason. So I watched it many, many times. In a really funny movie that, I don't know. It's kind of weird that it's not one people really talk about anymore. But yeah, definitely Christmas movie. People are dressed as Santa and it's taking place. And it kind of a Christmas theme to it, honestly. What did you think of Rare Exports: A Christmas Tale? Yeah, I'd like to rewatch it. It's definitely a favorite by many. I watched it twice. Once. A lot of naked Santa or Krampus. I need to rewatch. I know my friend Kaylee, she watches it every Christmas. That's a good question. Terrifier is so crazy. Oh yeah, definitely. It's not scary. It's just gross. That's fair. The thing I will admit, I'm not. I don't say this as like a tough guy, but I growing up watching horror ever since I was a very little kid. I don't get scared watching a movie, so that doesn't really bother me because I don't even really think about if the movie's scary or not. So sometimes a movie that affects me in another way. I think if a movie evokes emotion, it's doing its job because that's what art should do. I don't mean Art the Clown, but art in general should evoke some kind of emotion, and that emotion does not have to be positive. It could be negative, fear. You can get disturbed. You could get grossed out. I don't know if that's necessarily an emotion, but so sometimes I watch something that's like disturbing, and that I like that. It's not even that I don't even necessarily think I like it, but I think if something gets to you in any way, it's doing its job. I don't like. I don't even really like the name like popcorn movie because to me it's that seems like a real negative. Even though I know people don't mean it that way, but I don't really want to watch something that's just like a throwaway film. Even though if I think about it, I guess a lot of stuff I like is the Saw movies. Well, that's another one too. I guess is what's his name? The guy from Saw, Shamil Buckman. Merry Christmas. I believe that's Tazo the Greek. I do. For me, it's not, but I really think that it depends your age. So, if you grew up in the '90s, because I know people who grew up in the '90s, and so like my friend AJ who does the show with me, so like Scream and the Saw movies, and like I Know What You Did Last Summer, that kind of stuff's like their favorite horror movies, and they're not really mine. And I think it just depends what you grew up with. So I grew up in the '80s, so the stuff from then is more. But honestly, I mean, I like even older stuff, but yeah, I think it really depends what you grew up with. Terrifier is the wrong turn. Oh, you mean just like gross out? I guess. I'm not a big fan of the wrong turns. Oh no, wrong turn. That's what the with I was thinking something else. Anyway, I like wrong turn. I'm a kind of a sucker for mutant hillbillies. So especially like the first wrong turn. Some of the other ones are good too. Jonathan Jackson is very anti-Dabbleverse, so I've got some Dabbleverse fans, and then a lot of my regulars. They are very anti-Dabbleverse, like Jonathan Jackson. I mean, he's in these not really a schizo because at the end of the first one he blows his brains out and he comes back. So I mean, I think he's a demon, honestly. And I think in the end of the third one, he's going to hell. And I think in the third one, we're going to see some of him in hell. King Cappuccino, I like how art is just kind of there. No big in depth backstory. I agree 100%. I like that better than ones with back stories, honestly. If he does have one, though, I didn't know. Yeah, they're starting to flesh out a little bit. But I do think the fourth one, they're actually going to go in depth into that. And I don't know if that's a plus or minus. In a way, I think when you do four, you kind of have to. But you always run the risk of it being like a big letdown. Because when I think about it, it's very rare when there's a horror sequel where they really go into the character's backstory that works. Like, so the Texas Chainsaw Massacres, like, it's scary just to think like how did this family get to where they are? Like it's generational. So you think like creepier stuff. And then like when you get like the prequels, they're pretty bad. Like that Leatherface movie where Leatherface is just like a normal kid, like a good-looking kid, and then he cuts his face and then he's Leatherface. I mean, it's really stupid. And then I think like the Hannibal backstory was really rotten. I think it's better to just come up with your own idea how Hannibal Lecter gets to that level. There's very few. I'm sure there's something I could think of that works when you get the backstory of the character, but for the most part, I don't think it's good. So you do run the risk, and I think as I said earlier, I think that's real charm of the first movie is he's just there and he's a killer. Jenna Cannell, yeah, there we go. Jenna Cannell is great in Terrifier, and she's been good in a lot of stuff since then. She directed her own movie recently, which I had her on the show for. I'm not a big. I like the first Scream pretty good, but I'm not a fan at all of the sequels. But I know they're big. So. Between difference between scary and just plain gross. Sure, that's fine, but I like it. I look to each their own. I always say so. If you like the movie, cool. If you don't, I get why some people wouldn't be into it. And but I like it. I'm into it. Zombie movies have a lot of work to do. So there's been a lot of good. I love obviously the first three Romero zombie movies and stuff like Brain Dead, Dead Alive, Return of the Living Dead. And then you had so many of them. So to do something new, you got to stand out. And there have been some good ones, obviously like some horror comedies like Shaun of the Dead. And then there's was it the girl with what's it called? The girl with the skill. I forget the name of it. I can't remember the name of it. But there's you have to do something new. I think you can't just like we're going to do another zombie film. I say that, but honestly, that was I think what made The Walking Dead so big. They really just ripped off the old Romero stuff and put it in a series. Terrifier 4 would be fantastic. I am interested. Merry Christmas. Thank you, Bubba. Bubba, my buddy, my pal, made a great donation to the website, and he will be getting IMDb credits all year. 23 years later. All right. So, yeah. So, people debate if that's zombie or not. They infected. But, yeah, it's definitely something new. I was not a big fan of 23 years later. I was really looking forward to it. I thought the trailer was awesome. And it just didn't really. There's a lot of stuff that didn't work well for me. But I'll be honest, I saw the trailer for part 2, and I'm really excited. So who knows? But the thing, I really did not like that character at the end, and I know he's going to be a big part of this new one. But we'll see. Yeah, Black Phone. I'm a fan of both the Black Phones. Some people talk about like the second one becoming supernatural, but I mean, there's supernatural stuff in the first one. It's the whole point is the kids that are dead and they're coming back, not coming back, but like they're from beyond, like warning the current kid to try to help him. So it just stands to reason that when the killer dies, that his spirit would also go on. Yeah, I think it's called Bone Tower. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Eddie from the It remake, and he was in some other stuff, a lot of stuff. Off himself. That's really sad to hear anybody, especially someone young, and you can almost understand it if you've got a chronic illness or something. But yeah, very sad. So honestly, anybody out there who does have, especially now during the holiday seasons, I've had friends who got depressed and they're no longer here with us. There are, you could call friends. There's organizations out there you can contact. Who is the best has been character? I'm not sure what has Lucifer, Alistair, or Angel Dust. I don't know what that means, to be honest. I'm sorry, but I don't know what a has been character is. Is that a game or something? You must be on TikTok. I am on TikTok, actually. I'm on everything. I haven't updated the TikTok for a while. The only movie that scares me is probably The Exorcist or Black Coat's Daughter. Yeah, Exorcist, great. So when I was a kid, I was actually scared by the movie Magic, but more so the trailer, the real short trailer, always scared me. And the Tall Man from Phantasm always freaked me out. My mom was always really scared from Jaws, which a lot of people I think of who were around when they first came out definitely were. 70 was just peak. I'm kind of with Vagina Wrinkle on that. 70s for me, I think, is peak horror. But I also got to go back, like way back to Universal Monster stuff. So that stuff, that's what I grew up with. I would watch Universal Monster movies and record them on, they would be on late night at Channel 38 or whatever. And I also go to the drive-in and stuff. So I saw a lot of stuff. I liked Wrong Turn 1 and 2. I hope people still do that. I feel like they do. I feel like horror fans especially go back and watch old stuff. Son of Billy Wagner. There was a movie from 1977 that scared me at the time. It was called Haunt, and the guy went around killing people with scissors. Yeah, I remember that actually. A pair of scissors around here. What Christmas decor should I edit? I'm not sure. You're getting a little late for Christmas. Maybe you should do some New Year's. Do a New Year's decor. The burning. Oh, so yeah, the burning is when he's got the shears. He's got like what do you call them? Hedge clippers. The burning was really big when I was a kid because it didn't have a VHS release at the time. Or I don't know, somehow it was hard to get. And so it was like bootlegs were going around. And I remember watching the bootleg, and it was really bad quality. Since then, like it's, you can get it now, but it was really big at the time. Plus, it, who's the big Vagina Wrinkle? No, who's the big Tom Savini? Tom Savini he opted to do the effects for it instead of whichever Friday the 13th they were doing, maybe part 2. Yeah. Schizoid. I think that's the movie he's talking about. Can you give me a shout out? I can do that. Fishy9544. Sure. Sub to Fishy. But Fishy, you better subscribe here first, pal. Yeah. Let's see. Days. There hasn't been a great zombie movie since Shaun of the Dead. Or Dawn of the Dead. Do you mean the original? The original Dawn of the Dead, to me, is the best zombie movie ever made. But I think there's been some good ones since then. Let me just grab. I'm going to look up zombie movies. I don't think. Well, I hate to say this, but I don't think any of the Romero movies after none of the Romero zombie movies after Dawn of the Dead are particularly good. I'm not a fan of Land of the Dead. Diary of the Dead, not a big fan. I don't think it's an awful movie. I'm not a big fan. And then the one after that, I really thought was not good. So let's see. You got 28 Days Later, if you include that. If you consider that a zombie movie, I know some people do not. Zombieland's fun. The Dead Don't Die, I'm not a fan of. Train to Busan, actually. Days. Train to Busan, a great zombie film, Korean movie. Check that out. I think you would like it. Queens of the Dead is very fun. A new one by Tina Romero. World War Z is not good, in my opinion. Army of the Dead, I thought was pretty terrible. Return of the Living Dead came out after Dawn of the Dead. Return of the Living Dead's great. That's a genuinely great. I think that's one of the premier zombie movies, in my opinion. And of course, Dead Alive. Dead Alive, too. Dead Alive is fantastic. So, yeah, there's been some since Dawn of the Dead. But I wouldn't say any of those top Dawn of the Dead. Oh, then you got like Dead Snow is pretty fun. Let's see. Anthony behind the scenes. Rob Zombie's intro to Michael was not really needed. I know he wanted to do something different, but he should stick to the Firefly family. Oh, Michael Myers. Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying there. So I do think when you do a remake, you shouldn't just do the same thing. So I appreciate that you're trying to do something different. But I think the problem is his was like categorically, it was like so the opposite of what makes the original Halloween scary. Because the original Halloween is scary because there's no reason why Michael Myers is evil. He's just a kid and he's evil. So why that's scary is it's in the suburbs. So if you're in the suburbs, you just think, yeah, we all have neighbors. I'm from the suburbs. So it's like the idea that anyone in your neighborhood could be a killer, even if they just look totally normal, that's scary. And then when Michael Myers comes out, Dr. Loomis really sells how dangerous Michael Myers is, because he's a man of science who dedicated his life to helping mentally unwell people. So he spends half his life trying to get to and save Michael Myers. And then a man of science realizes he is evil, and he spends the rest of his life trying to keep him locked away. And that, without the Loomis character in the original one, Michael Myers is not that scary because he doesn't speak or anything. But you have the Loomis character to sell how scary he is. And also Michael Myers, when he's out, he's completely average. He's average height. There's nondescript. Even the mask itself is nondescript, which I think is very important. So he can blend in completely. He is just, as the name says, a shape. He's just a person. So it's Halloween, a mask, completely blend in, does not stand out in any way. That's scary that just your average child, your average guy in a mask could be a potential killer. You fast forward to the Rob Zombie one, and there's a reason why he becomes a killer. He comes from a bad upbringing, split family, an abusive stepdad. Anyone would know this is going to be, maybe not a serial killer, but anyone knows this is going to be a troubled child. So they give a reason why he's a troubled kid, which is not inherently bad if you're making a completely other movie. But if you're making a Michael Myers Halloween movie, I think you really missed the point entirely of Michael Myers and Halloween. And then he comes back and he's 7 feet tall, and he doesn't just have a mask. It's all friggin' ripped, and he's horrendous looking. Anyone in their right mind's going to be scared shitless if they saw him. Even on Halloween, you'd be like, holy fuck, look at this giant menacing dude. So it misses the point on every level, in my opinion. And then the second one's just, oh my God. Fish guy. Why did Jesus ask God to forgive the ones who killed him? Because look, I'm not a religious guy, but it's easy to forgive someone who didn't really do anything to you. It's the same actually kind of idea behind freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is there to protect the speech you don't like, because everyone's for free speech that you agree with. Who freaking cares? But if you can forgive somebody who did something truly awful to you, that is true forgiveness. Let's see here. Have you ever seen I've seen Dead Birds, but I've not seen a movie called Dead Birds. A lot of talk of schizoid. What's Dead Birds? A Civil War era? I was thinking like it was a movie made during the Civil War. I don't think they made movies back then. Universal monsters never get old. Agreed. What's your favorite? You didn't ask that, but Frankenstein's monster's my favorite by far. But right under that is The Invisible Man. I think is the most underrated of the Universal monster movies, and Creature from the Black Lagoon. Creature from the Black Lagoon. I hate to say underrated because it's not underrated. People love it, but I think there's a lot of stuff in it that people don't really realize. I think it was ahead of its time, is what I'll say. There's a lot of environmental stuff in the movie, and the idea that we're invading its territory, and it's not doing anything wrong. It's protecting itself and its habitat. There's even a scene where they throw a cigarette into the water, and they just kind of hold on there. and there's a cigarette. It's like you're polluting this guy's friggin' house. People would rent the burning and not return the tapes to the store. That's very possible. But so when I was a kid, the burning we watched on bootleg, and Evil Dead was another one. Of course, Day of the Dead. Yeah, Day of the Dead. Man, I'm way behind here. Day of the Dead. Yeah, the first three Romero zombie movies are great. Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. And then I named a handful of other ones I think are very good. I saw the new Silent Night, Deadly Night. I didn't mind it. I liked it. I also watched Christmas Bloody Christmas. Oh, I really like Christmas Bloody Christmas. That came out a couple years ago on Shudder. I would really recommend that, shot on actual film. I have a feeling Vagina Wrinkle would really like that. Is it Bezos? How do you say his name? That movie? Christmas Bloody Christmas could have used more money, I thought. Yeah, it's a super low budget movie. But you can't really fault it for that. I mean, everyone would like to have more money. I agree, he did a great job. You should watch all his movies. I'm a big fan of his films. His last one he made during COVID in his own apartment. It's about aliens attacking, and he decked out his apartment. It's just like two guys battling these aliens in his apartment. He really freaking blood everywhere and ooze and goo, all in his own apartment. It's pretty amazing what that guy does with not much money. Dead Alive, yeah, I'm a huge Dead Alive fan. Cemetery Man's a good one too. Dead Alive's one I probably rented more than just about any movie as a kid. I rented it all the time. I saw Dead Alive opening night of Cool. Oh wow, Son of Billy Wagner, I go to Coolidge all the time. I was not going to Coolidge back then. I did the first time I went to Coolidge was 2012, and it was to see I think it was House of a Thousand Corpses. It had already been out, but it was like whatever anniversary, House of a Thousand Corpses, in 35 millimeter. But I did not see Dead Alive at the Coolidge. I may have seen it since at the Coolidge, but I was not going to the Coolidge until my adult years. Yeah, Evil Dead. Now that's interesting. If you consider Evil Dead a zombie movie, it's interesting because I don't. The Deadites, but if you think about the Deadites they're almost like because I consider them possessed, but their body, I guess, would be a zombie for the possessed because it's like just a carcass being used. So that's interesting debate. Is Evil Dead a zombie movie? All these people coming out of the woodwork now. All the Headyverse are opening their presents, about to go to sleep now. We'll go to sleep, Mr. Jackson. We'll see you tomorrow. Halloween is a mix of luck and brilliance. My favorite of all time, if I had to choose. Yeah, it's great. By the way, Sven Gulli, this is what I got in the mail today from Hope for a Christmas present. Sven Gulli. So who is your favorite horror host? I have toyed around with doing it's been suggested I do some horror host stuff. I have an idea for it to set a little different. It would be to host horror shorts, because I see a lot of cool shorts at festivals and my own festival, Severed Lambs. And the idea would be I would host them, and each episode would be like one short. And so I'd kind of do the intro, show the short film, and then maybe a short Q&A with the director, kind of like how they do it on The Last Drive-In. I've had people that agreed to do it, so maybe I'll look into that. But Joe Bob's probably mine. But Sven Gulli's cool. Tyler Main is really tall. Yeah, he's super tall. Very nice guy too. Yeah, he's been on the show many times and some video interviews with him. And he was I've hosted a panel with him. It was Men Behind the Mask, and it was him, Kane Hodder, Derek Mears, who's also really tall, and Brian Steele, who's also super tall. And me, who's very, very short. Nasty Neil World Order, AG in the house. Yeah. By the way, I am on Super Tip. I did not set it up yet. I think I just have the default voice. I don't know. I haven't really looked too much into it, but I don't think I can use it on StreamYard. I think I have to do OBS. So on shows like this where it's just me, it'll be fine. When I have guests, I don't know if I'll be able to really use it. Well, I'll have to look into it. But thank you, Milton and the boys, hooking Nasty Neil up with a super tip. Family Opera is an underrated Universal monster. Just amazing. Yeah, there you go. Lon Chaney Sr., fantastic. One of the greatest experiences I had at Halloween one year, I went to see Phantom of the Opera at the Boston, I don't want to say Opera House, but it was done with the Boston Orchestra. How they were really done back in the silent era. So it's the movie and an actual orchestra doing the music. It was an amazing experience. I've seen some other movies with an orchestra, and sometimes they really missed the boat because, like, I saw one, I can't remember what it was. It was a Lost World dinosaur movie, and it was a modern band, which is fine, but I just don't think the music fit. And then I saw a really bad one. Honestly, I hate to say it's terrible, because it was Frankenstein. So this didn't work for several reasons, because they did the live orchestra, but Frankenstein's not silent, and it has a score. So it was like the orchestra against like what was already happening on already sound. Plus, whoever put it together, I don't think understood Frankenstein at all, because they had very like angry music and like evil music for all the Frankenstein stuff. And Frankenstein's monster is not evil. So I don't think they even understood the source material or the whole point. I think I actually took away from the film. But when I saw Phantom of the Opera with an orchestra, it was a great, great time. Dude, before my father-in-law passed this summer, last summer we watched Nash Bridges. Oh, well, very cool. I've never watched Nash Bridges. I'm sure it's good. I've just not seen it. I liked Return of the Living Dead 3. Yeah, Return of the Living Dead 3. I know it's John's favorite because he gets all horned up over the girl zombie. But no, it's a good movie too. Joe Begos. There you go. Yep. Sonny Billy Wagner, Joe Begos. I've tried to get him on the show. Not had success, but I'm a fan of all his work, honestly. And that's inspirational to see a guy do like big stuff with very little money. Because anything I've worked on is very little money. In Arbor Day, we're hoping to get a $20,000 budget, which in the grand scheme of things is not very much. Merry Krampus, Lover Beers, another original here on Without Your Head. He goes way back to when we used to be on a message boards. Anyone else remember when message boards were a big deal? And I cannot access anymore. I don't think we can even get to them. But we had a really active message board back in 2005. Cemetery Man is a favorite. Yeah, it's a good one too. Goulardian Son of Ghoul are what we had in Cleveland. See, I never heard of those. That's kind of cool to think of like local ones. I watched Die Hard last night. A Christmas Story is imminent, and maybe Anne and the Apocalypse. That's another zombie movie that's modern that I really like. Anne and the Apocalypse. Ho ho ho! Now I have a machine gun. And the Apocalypse. If you haven't seen it, I'm a big fan. Christmas horror, zombie, musical. I like all these things. I know some people are very anti-musical, but I am not. Joe Bob Briggs, best. Yeah, I agree. So I've told the story. I don't know if I ever told you, Vagina Wrinkle. So when Joe Bob did Basket Case on the last drive-in, so they did the Basket Case one, and I got all these messages. People are like, Neil, nasty Neil. Like he's saying almost the same stuff you say about Kevin Van Hentenrick. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then wasn't that long after that, I had emailed Joe Bob about coming on the show. And Joe Bob's like, yeah, I know. I know. Without Your Head, I used your Kevin Van Hentenrick video because we went and visited Kevin Van Hentenrick in the Catskills. because people don't know the lead of the Basket Case films. After Basket Case, he went on to become a stonemason, and so now he lives in the Catskills, and he's a mason. And in the summertime, he does free seminars to learn how the ancient art of stone carving. And so I went there twice to learn stone carving from Kevin Van Hentenryck, and did some video interviews with him, where it was interesting because he talked about how like no one there knows that he's this guy from Basket Case. They just know him as the local stonemason. And so Joe Bob actually said, several of these things. And so he told me that he used that video as research, which makes sense because you have to do research somewhere. And he's like, oh, here's this guy interviewed Kevin Van Hentenryck recently in the mountains. So I'm very proud of that. This is pretty wild. A vagina wrinkle. How would you want to do that some summer? We could go to the Catskills and learn the ancient art of stone carving from Kevin Van Hentenryck. Maybe we can get a group of headless folks there to join us. How it works is there's these giant boulders, and you pick a spot and you carve. So it's kind of cool to think that these giant boulders probably be there for eternity, and they'll be covered in various art that's made by all these different people. So I started to carve a Frankenstein's monster that I've not finished. So someday I would like to go back and finish. And you can also get a small stone and carve yourself and bring it home. So I also did that, and I have a little Belial that I had carved. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Well, thank you, Kendall. We appreciate that. Very short, practically a dwarf. Who are they talking about? I don't know. I believe 4'10" is the cutoff point for being a technical dwarf. I saw Phantom with Paul Stanley years ago. It was so good. How cool. Phantom of with Kiss. What's that called? Phantom of Paradise or whatever. Are you a swinger? I'm not a swinger. Why are you offering Mr. Turd Lips? You need like you need a name that would be a little more seductive, a little bit more attractive to me. Like you can't be like, hey, are you a swinger? I'm Mr. Turd Lips. Like that's probably not gonna do it for me. Now, if you came in and you're like, Candy Lips McGee, you'd be like, well, maybe, who knows? I saw Star Wars 1977 a few years ago with an orchestra, and it was amazing. That sounds awesome. Rice Krispies or Fruity Pebbles? I know this is kind of blasphemy. I'm not really a big sugary cereal guy. I always like granola. But if I had to pick between those two, actually Fruity Pebbles was my favorite of the sugary cereals. I did like Fruity Pebbles. I'm not a big chocolate guy, but I'm a big fruit guy. Good evening, everyone. Hello, Jason Finch. It's good to see you. Merry Christmas. Oh, Days is a Cocoa Pebbles guy. All right. I'm a Fruity Pebbles man. Cocoa Pebbles here for Days. Can I call them Days and Confused? Merry Christmas Eve. Well, it is after midnight where I am, so technically is Christmas, but Merry Christmas Eve. Good evening to you, Brother Nathaniel. Good evening to you, Jason Finch. I hope you have a wonderful holiday, whatever you celebrate. If you don't celebrate, hope you have a good day. Salem's Lot on HBO is one of the best vampire movies ever. Wow. See, I heard nothing but terrible reviews, and then my brother watched it recently and said he really liked it, so I need to give it a shot. I have to admit I've not seen it. I'm a big fan of the original. That's actually something that scared me as a kid, too, was the original Salem's Lot. And not, well, first of all, Barlow is very creepy. But there was always something about the little kids floating and knocking on the window that scared me. I was very young at the time. And so, and the book is great. That's one of my favorite Stephen King novels. And it's interesting because the Stephen King novel, it's not, the basic idea is not really groundbreaking. It's almost a classic vampire story, like the retelling of Dracula in many ways in modern day. But it's done so well. It's almost like an EC Comics for an adult. Like it's a very sophisticated adult EC Comics elongated. So it's like your typical vampire story, honestly, but done in a great way. So Barlow's much different in the book than he was in the original film, but from what I understand, he's a very small character in the new one too, which is a little odd. It's like on The Stand. I don't know why. For me, the best character in the Stand novel is the Trash Man, and he's so minor in both versions. I'm not really sure why. The older one is good, but not nearly as scary. Right. I think again, it probably like if you grew up with it, as opposed to like if you just watched it first time as an adult. I'm wearing my red, black flannel farm hat and black and red checkered flannel button shirt, Ed Gein style. I look fantastic in it. I looked in the mirror land. I look a lot like Eddie Gein from Plainfield. Hell yeah, that's the way to go. That might turn on Vagina Wrinkle. I think she's into Ed Gein kind of guys. Hope that helps. You're always helpful, Mr. Abir. Joey Bob is amazing. Wow, my friend work was shown on his Shutter show. Oh, sweet. That's awesome. Former co-host on the show, treacherous Trista Robinson, was a zombie during COVID and when they were doing the drive-in stuff. And so they had zombies walking around the drive-in, and she was one of those. She said it was a really fun experience. That's my Christmas Eve attire tonight, brother. Hell yeah. Sounds good. When I played Backwards Bob in End Zone 2, I wear a similar hat, actually. Let's go. All right. We are in for next. It's during the summer, I believe. Next, it might be August, I think. Next August. Merry Christmas. Then we go. I like this. It's like when you ever watch a wrestling match where like they're like one, like let's go Cena, and there's like, let's go Gunther. They're going back and forth. This is how I picture this. We got Merry Christmas, do 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 do, and then you go Krampus, Krampus, and then they go back and forth, the dueling chants. You get what I'm saying. It's weird how big Krampus has gotten. Like, he wasn't really well known, honestly, not that long ago, maybe 12 years ago, when we used to talk about him on the podcast. And then I'm not taking credit for that, but he's really blown up. There, at least in America. Like, he was known like in other countries, but not really a thing anyone talked about here. I like Christmas Horror Story a lot too. I think it's a really fun movie. I'm a big anthology fan. I didn't know there were so many anti-anthology people until like I got in line. I just thought that was something that most fans like. Black Christmas, yeah, Black Christmas, the original. That's one where the remake out. Are there any real fans of the remakes? That's good. Barlow is yeah, there we go. I don't know if you've I might knock stuff down, but this over here, I don't know if you ever noticed. This is a big giant Barlow candle. It's very heavy. That was sent to me by Mike Terry. Red Christmas. Yeah, I'm a fan of Red Christmas. So Red Christmas, for people don't know, it's about an aborted baby who lives and then comes back for revenge as an adult. With Dee Wallace. Great cast. Really, really dark movie. Also fun. Krampus Origins, Krampus Return. Yeah, a lot of Krampus stuff. Christmas Evil. I'm a huge fan. So years ago, I interviewed the guy, the name will escape me right now, who played the lead in Christmas Evil. A great job. Like an actual A+ acting performance in that movie. I think his delivery is greater than what's on paper. The guy really knocked it out of the park. And I love the ending. Because it's like, whoa, is Santa real? What's going on here? Pokemon. I noticed. I think more people when I'm streaming this in on the phone version and in widescreen. I think the phone version it picks up more hits. The remake was great. I assume you mean of Salem's Lot. I will definitely watch this. That would be fun to watch. And That would be fun, actually, I think, for some show ideas where we would compare and contrast, like the original version and the new one and the book for people who've read it. Because that's something I would like to do too. Because like I've read a lot of classic horror novels since the pandemic, and so I read that and Jaws, obviously. I don't know, just tons of stuff. But it would be fun to compare like the different film versions. For example, Last Man. I Am Legend. So like to compare the movie, well, the book I Am Legend to Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price, Omega Man with Charlton Heston, and then the I Am Legend with the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. I think that would be a fun show. And also, like I recently read Island of Dr. Moreau, and there's 3 versions of that. It's 2 Islands of Dr. Moreau and what's the other one called? Island of Lost Souls. So I think that would be a fun show to do too. Red Christmas, it is a disgusting movie, but people like me and Vagina Wrinkle, we like disgusting movies, but we understand if it's not for everybody. Not everyone can be disgusting like us. Merry Christmas. This is the Stranger Things preview show. It is not, but why not? I need to catch up. I didn't watch the previous season of Stranger Things. I need to watch that, and then I'll start watching this new one. Oh, the black, really? Wow. I appreciate this days because I was under the impression that really no one likes the black, but I appreciate that you stand by your convictions, and I like that you like something that everyone else likes because there's stuff I like that a lot of people don't like, and so I stand by you standing by the Black Christmas remake. Gorier the better. That's our motto. That's why me and Vagina Wrinkle are friends. We like gory, disgusting things. But you can also be a nice person too. All right, I think I'm gonna head out, but this was really fun. I really appreciate all you guys coming by. Royal Rumble number. All right, we'll give you a Royal Rumble number. No. You got to call. You got a video in. So I'm doing a live show tomorrow, wrestling show. You got a video in, or if you super chat. If you super chat right now, you'll get a Royal Rumble number. For people who don't know my wrestling show, we do an annual Royal Rumble contest. You get a number 1 through 30, whatever number you get, that's who you are. So let's say you got number 12, and out comes the Undertaker comes back. That's who you represents you in the Rumble. I love Hannibal and no one else does. Yeah, I'm not a fan. The show, or you mean the movie? The movie I'm not a fan of. The show I was a big fan of. But not a fan of the movie. Killing Me Smalls. That's the rules. Dude, my mom and dad got divorced the year it came out. My mom bought me. Well, that is very nice. I like that days. So I actually keep this reminded me days, and I like that story, and I think that is an excellent reason why that movie should mean something to you. This creep show up here behind me, VHS tape in the original clamshell. The original clamshell creep show. The reason why, not only do I love the movie, but the reason why this is so special to me, and I keep it up here, is the first VHS tape that my mom bought me back in the 80s. And VHS tapes back in the 80s were like $90. So that was a big deal. And I watched it so many times, I actually wore out the tape. The tape no longer works. But I have the original clamshell. And these clamshells are pretty badass. So I keep that up there. And that means a lot to me for that very reason. Not only do I love the movie, but it holds a special place to me. So I like that. It's like some songs like will remind you of the first time you heard them or a time in your life. Take care. Merry Christmas, Bubba. It's good to see you. I'll try to hop on this weekend maybe too and do something. Maybe I could. I actually tried to get Brian Usna back on to specifically talk about Silent Night, Deadly Night 4. But I should have thought about it sooner. Hannibal, absolutely love it. The movie, wow. I'm not a fan, Vagina Wrinkle, but I still love you, Vagina Wrinkle. I love the show too. Yeah. I was not a fan of the Hannibal book either. Wait, where are y'all going? Dude, I got to talk more. Well, we'll be back, Days. I'll be back tomorrow doing a wrestling show. I'll try to pop on this weekend and do maybe maybe Friday. Maybe I'll come on Friday and do a horror movie show, Days. But Days, by the way, we're live every single Thursday. We're live. It'll be me and a group of folks, Tara Hutchinson and AJ and Terrible Troy, and we talk horror. We have guests. So next Thursday, not tomorrow because tomorrow's Christmas, but next Thursday, we'll be live with the directors of a horror movie called New Fears Evil. So we're going to have them on for New Year's. You know what? I could probably grab the trailer. Well, look, you guys want to see the trailer for New Fears Evil? Let me grab this here. New Fears Evil. I believe it's streaming now on what is it? I forget. It's definitely streaming somewhere. New Fears Evil. Everything's coming up. No, I don't want New Year's Evil. I want New Fears Evil. I know he sent it to me. The trailer. I think it's on. Maybe it's on. I was gonna say Venmo. Maybe it's on Vimeo. Give me one sec. I'll grab it. We'll find it here. While I look here, I'm gonna play a quick video of something or other. Oh, I don't have any horror stuff up here. Let me grab it. New Fears Evil. My friend John Devlin, speaking of anthologies, so he made a penis anthology called Fallacies, and it's all short horror things about penises. And then he also did one, the new one is Analologies, and it's all short horror films about butt stuff. So, so you can check those out. And then I think the next one is called Toe Tags, and it's a foot fetish film, but horror related. Oh, here we go. Oh, New Fear's Eve. I keep finding evil. That's my problem. New Fear. I'm thinking New Year's Evil, which is a fun movie. Boy, I would probably. I don't know if I get in trouble. Have you ever heard the theme to New Year's Evil? One of the best. One of the best horror themes ever in a film. All right, let me. This is the trailer for New Fear's Eve, and the fine folks will be on the show a week from tomorrow. Screenbox, that's where it's
from the studio that unleashed the Toxic Avenger.
Hey, talk about the burning.
Terrifier 3 and the creator of Final Destination. Comes a twisted horror comedy
That's
by
another
two
90s
cisgender
franchise, Final
white dudes that you've definitely never heard of.
We're both gay.
Looks like we got a surplus. As you know, I do the end of the year corporate call. Here's the long and the short of it. We're going to need to trim some fat around.
What about tomorrow's New Year's Eve party? Cancel that.
I'm taking away people's jobs. I'm not going to take away their party. I'm not a monster.
Yeah, seriously, he's not like conniving, two-timing, motherfucking limp dick piece of shit asshole.
Melissa Rose.
There was a lot of specific.
Sleepaway Camp.
I'm in a kind of precarious sort of situation.
When I have those days, I feel like I'm
That's
a ghost
Dave
pepper
Sheridan
as
from
a
I think
vampire.
what's he from? Scary Movie.
For being the smartest guy I know, you are dense when it comes to seeing a great opportunity.
You can't cheat fate. You and Nick were never
that's
supposed
Anna
to be
Fearman
together.
from
My resolution is to remain dick-free next year.
VHS.
I had that same resolution.
Well, that confirms the rumors about you having no dick.
You're young enough now to avoid that.
Tomorrow I have this stupid mandatory work party.
You look scary familiar.
We work together. I give you your spreadsheets.
I'm the only one that spreads her sheets.
Hey now.
Hey, buddy, you're not supposed to be in here this late.
That's a
I don't
cool
know who you
look.
are.
I like the look of this
You
guy.
have to come back during business hours.
What do you want?
I haven't watched it
serial
yet.
killer on
I'm
our
going to watch it.
What's going
before
on? Where
next
is
week.
everybody?
People have been murdered.
Oh, and won a bunch of stuff at festivals. That's a good sign for me. Also nominated for Chainsaw Awards. New Fears Eve. All right, I'm down. Whoops.
Oh, shit.
I missed a little spell. Let's do this again here.
I
We're not
use
going to
PayPal
replay
to
the
buy
whole
this
thing.
ticket. The pay.
You can go look afterwards. But there's like a post-credit scene in the trailer, which you don't always see. Now I'm going to show you guys. Hopefully they don't yell at me. New Year's Evil, the song. So New Year's Evil is a great horror movie too. 1980s slasher film. I love it. Then the theme song is fantastic. I wonder if anyone has the theme song, because I'm only seeing the theme song with just like a still photo. I wonder if anyone has it with like some more images. I don't think so. All right. Well, anyway, we're gonna grab it here. Hold on. Here we go. You're gonna love this song. I should probably play it next week, but here's a little. We're almost to New Year's, so this is your homework after Christmas. There's a lot of cool Christmas horror you can watch, but then you got to watch New Year's Evil. Year's Evil. A good team. Let me show a trailer. We can find the trailer. You can listen to the whole song on your own. All right, here we go. Let's see. It's got to be a trailer. When you think, oh, here we go. Got the trailer getting ready here. Don't be a cheapskate. Skip this shit. All right, here we go. New Year's Eve. Oh, they play the song on the trailer.
On the one night they were celebrating New Year's Eve, he was out, ending their life.
I'm going to commit murder.
Murder. Not a super well-known slasher movie that maybe you've never seen, so go check it out.
Every New Year's Eve, the caller came out.
I've never been able to track down a guest from New Year's Eve.
Please. I'll do anything you want. We can even get it on if you want to. I won't make any comments.
Now that's a mask.
One terrifying night of unspeakable evil. New Year's Evil.
I recommend it. Nasty Neil says New Year's Evil. Fine 80s slasher that probably not everyone has seen. All right. Let's see. Days. Dude, it's my birthday today. Well, happy birthday. Happy birthday, 2 days. Happy birthday, 2 days. Happy birthday, dear Days. Happy birthday to you. I'm so happy I came across this. I've lost so many fans. Oh, I hate to hear that. I'm sorry. Well, yeah, welcome. We have an active community. There's a Facebook group. if you're into Facebook. But yeah, we're live every Thursday night. We have a fun chat room. We try to keep the trolls at bay, but we have a good time. Vagina Wrinkle, she holds a tight ship here, keeps a tight ship with her wrench. I'd love to see you. Yeah. And on Thursdays, on our Thursday show, we also take video calls if you'd ever want a video in, or you don't have to either. You can just come and chat along with us. It's a fun time. And we almost always have a guest on the show too. Although we also will be having our, we do an annual best of the year show where we all have our top 13 horror films of the year. And Alok Marisha, producer of 1BR, will join us. And maybe some other guest host will join us. It'll be a fun time. Love the 90s. Yeah, exactly. It's great. Good pick-me-up is 90s Power Rangers. How do I set up a super tip? I'm not really sure. You have to contact them, I guess. Thank you, Vagina Wrinkle. I know you're not a wrestling person per se, but you are going to get yourself a Royal Rumble number. If you win the Royal Rumble contest, you get an 8-bit picture of yourself drawn by me. Number 16, Vagina Wrinkle. 16. So whoever comes out at 16 represents you in the Royal Rumble. I'll show you an example. I know you've seen some of my horror ones that I've drawn, but let's see here. I think I have some saved here. Maybe I do not. Oh, no, here's one. This was, I believe, last year's winner was Jonathan Jackson. And so I drew his little caricature here and the ring that I drew. With and all these fans are different listeners of the show. And then you'll get thrown into the crowd in future renditions. Let's see. I think I may have lost track where it was. So here we go. Just going up a little bit. Merry Christmas, Nasty Neil. Skål! It's been a while since I heard that. Maud Levy, a legend in the chats here. That's good. So is this song Stripper from the Monster Club, 1981. All right. I remember Monster Squad had that. It was like Shop to You Drop song or something. Something I know wasn't Shop to You Drop. I forget. Neil, can you do a home tour, or at least a fridge tour? No. I mean, I'd have to pick the camera up and walk around, and no, sorry. I do have a deep freeze over here that's got a couple turkeys in there that you get cheap after Thanksgiving. You throw them in the deep freeze. They're good to go for a couple of years. You bring them up whenever. Throw some spiral hams in there. Get some steaks. Dude, the B-52s. Oh, yeah, I'm a big fan of the B-52s. There are some videos out there of, so it's coming up on 6 years since I stopped drinking. But when I was drunk, I was just kind of a fun-loving guy. But one thing that I loved when I drank was doing karaoke. So there are some videos out there of a very drunken Nasty Neil doing karaoke. And one of them is Love Shack. There is a Love Shack out there. It may be hidden, but if anyone really would like to see any of those, I don't mind. You can message me on wherever, any social media thing, and I will send you a link to Nasty Neil's Drunken Karaoke. Yeah, fun movie. I agree. It's pretty it's weird because a lot of horror movies, everyone knows, but I don't think New Year's Evil's a really well-known horror movie. And it's weird since it is, I think, what is it, Terror Train, or one of the train movies is also New Year's theme. Sent your tip to, let me check. Oh, I have my phone upstairs, so I can't. But Bubba, I'll give you a Royal Rumble. I trust you, my friend. So here you go, Royal Rumble. Boom. What do we got here? Wow, I think that's a good one. 22. Number 22. Whoever comes out of 22 will represent you in the Royal Rumble. What did I do with my pen? I think I lost my pen. All right, we got a Sharpie here. Oh, no, there it is. 22 is Bubba. Bubba. Well, you know what? I think we should give Days a number 2. He doesn't need to send in anything. It's his birthday. He gets a free number. Whoa! I thought that was 1. Number 4. Number 4. That's not necessarily a great number because if you come out of 4, you've got to last almost an hour to win the Royal Rumble. But there you go. All right, we'll be giving those out until we are out of them. Be giving out some more tomorrow on the wrestling show. Let's talk movies and music and movies always. I like that. So what are some of your favorite horror themes? So New Year's Eve, I really like. You know what else I love? And I'm serious, is I love the theme from My Bloody Valentine. The ballad of I can't remember his name, but there's something about it's like this folk song, and it's very specific to the movie, and I love that. So for people who have seen my first feature film, End Zone 2. So a quick synopsis: End Zone 2 and the Once and Future Smash. These movies played together, and now the double disc Blu-ray. The Once and Future Smash is a mockumentary, think kind of Spinal Tap, but set in the horror convention world. And so it's about 2 older actors who both take credit for a 1970 slasher film. They both say they played the same character, which is inspired by many guests of mine on the show who both took credit for playing Leatherface and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. There's like Stephen Dash and Wharton Gillette both take credit for playing Jason Voorhees and Friday the 13th Part 2, and so on and so forth. They're booked together 50 years later at a convention, and I got a lot of my horror friends to play themselves, like Victor Miller, the author of the original Friday the 13th, Dan Yeager, who played Leatherface, Mark Patton from Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, lots of people. I can't name all, forget. And then so End Zone 2 is the actual 1970 slasher film. So we filmed that at the time when we did festivals. We built it as an actual 1970 slasher we found and restored. We all agreed to use fake names on the IMDb. That's why if you go to the IMDb for End Zone 2, there's all these people from the 1970s. And they only have 1 credit because they don't really exist. And so what I mentioned that? Oh, so what I mentioned that was the impetus for the idea of the music in End Zone 2, because both me and Michael Epstein, who the movie came about when we were talking on Facebook Messenger, me and Michael, and I was talking about some guests on the show who I like them both. I'll say their names. It's the 2 guys who play Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw 2. And I like both guys. They have conflicting stories who played Leatherface and how much the other played them or didn't play them at all. And I believe both guys. I like both guys. But they have very different stories. So, there's something going on there. And then Michael's like, that's a good idea for a movie. And then, things started to go from there. And one of the things that we both love are sort of peculiar music that almost doesn't fit the genre. So like I was saying, the ballad in My Bloody Valentine, there's also a similar song in Madman Mars movie. And also really the music in Last House on the Left. It's like this upbeat, like kind of hippie music, like set to like this really like horrific, like great movie. It's very strange. So we made that was a big part of End Zone 2, was we had like folksy, like kind of upbeat music during like the kill scene. So anyway, if anyone out there, I would like to know your favorite. Obviously you got Jaws for score, Halloween, any of the John Carpenter movies has got to be up there for best music. That was really wild to go see John Carpenter in a concert. I didn't know what to expect, because I was like, he's like this 70-something-year-old guy. Is he just going to be up there with his keyboard? Sort of, but he had a band, and it was a wild experience. He's playing Halloween and Assault on Precinct 13 and They Live and what's the Devil? I mean, there was some like more like deep cuts and like The Thing, and it was a great experience. Merry Christmas. God bless to your family. Thank you, Trazzy, and you as well. 16 is magic. Yes. Let's see. Yeah, that's all right. We gave you a free number. Neil, can you push Liam to make at least a short film in 2026? Going into the new year, so not to get all super serious on everybody here, but as I mentioned a few times, and I know some people get mad if I mention it, I don't care. I had a lot of near-death experiences and when I turned 40 and complications from 40 to 45 changed me in many ways. And one of those things is not to hold grudges. I know I have a limited time here. And one time I was told I would not see 50. That's 50 in a couple weeks. So I think my doctors were wrong on that one. But don't worry. I don't want to alarm anyone, but because I've gotten a lot healthier since then. But there was a time when it was not going to be long for Nasty Neil. And but that changes you in many ways. And one of those things is I decided, while I'm here, I'm going to do stuff I like to do with people that I like to be with and not to hold grudges. So what I'm saying is, Liam, in 2026, I'll be friends with Liam. I'll be friends with Av. I'll be friends with anybody, with Stuttering John, whoever. It's fine by me. So all grudges are gone in 2026. I'll unblock everybody that I have. I don't think I really have many people blocked, and we'll start anew. It'll be a new era with Liam. Maybe I'll team up with Liam. I'll help him make a movie. Pixel art. Yes, exactly. Pixel art. I like mine's a very 8-bit style, specific to like stuff I grew up with. So it'd be like Nintendo era. Different movie. I'm not sure which movie you meant. Chipmunks. A couple weeks ago I had some chipmunks down here. Right now I'm currently in my basement. So if I ever do a tour there, Unbanned, so I'm in my basement right here as I set this up to do the show. Over here is the clothes washer and dryer. Over here is the deep freeze. Back here is the furnace and stuff. And then back over here is where I made and I know there's some really anti-puppet people out there, but I made a little workshop to make puppets with. I drink for you. I will never come on here and tell people not to drink. I had a great time drinking. Just for health reasons, I had stopped. Rock Lobster. Terror Train. There you go. That's what I meant. Terror Train. Bubba's a good man. The Crow. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. The Crow had a great soundtrack and score, if that counts. 100%. 100% The Crow. My friend Shannon, who runs Buried Alive Film Festival in Atlanta, that's like her all-time favorite. What do you call it? Not a track, but album from a movie. Because that is the era. I graduated in '94, so that is like a big time era of music for me too. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, terrible Troy. I'm kind of losing my voice here. You know why? Oh my God. You know what? I've been dying of thirst this whole time. If people ever watch me live stream, I usually have multiple drinks. Here I usually have a big thing of black coffee and a tea, and then I also have something cold to drink because I get But anyway, I thought I was sitting here dying thinking I had nothing to drink. I was going to do it half hour, almost 2 hours. But I actually have a whole thing of spiced pear unsweetened polar seltzer. All right. Let's see here. What do you think of the Monster series on Netflix? I don't know what that is, actually, Days. The Monster series. Do you mean... I guess you don't mean the new Frankenstein. I love the new Frankenstein, by the way. I'm not sure what that is. You know, whatever. Oh, I know what you mean. The serial killer show. You know what? I need to watch those. I don't know why I haven't. Now you think about it. I would like to do. I think we should do a true crime month on the show sometime, where we would get guests for the whole month from like true crime horror films. There's a lot of great ones, so that would be a fun show to do. Whoops. Soundtrack. There you go. Danny Elfman is amazing. Yeah, Danny Elfman's awesome. Richard Elfman, his brother's been on the show a few times. He's started Oingo. He was in Oingo Boingo together. Bubba, I really like Danny Elfman's Sleepy Hollow 1999 theatrical score. Oh, very cool. That's one that a lot of people hate, but I actually like Sleepy Hollow. Dude, the Albert Fish story, is that a movie, or is that what you think they should do the next one on? That would be great. It should end with the very last episodes of what they should do. Let's say however many episodes in it, and at the very end they just have Norm comes up. He goes, "That guy was a real jerk." Oh, there we go. That's actually an excellent choice, Josh Denny. Goblin Suspiria. Great choice there. I saw wasn't Goblin. It was Fabio Frizzi. Fabio Frizzi, because we were talking earlier about seeing movies with an orchestra, and Fabio Frizzi at the Coolidge. Someone was in here earlier for who knows the Coolidge. I think the son of Billy Wagner. And the Coolidge had Fabio Frizzi a couple times, and he did he did the big one, the Zombie 2, but he also the Beyond, I think Beyond. So he did he was there twice with two different movies, and it was actually a different cut of the movie. Like they cut it to his music. It was really interesting, and that was wild. Anytime you can see like live music with the movie, it's very powerful. It's very powerful. And Fabio Frizzi, really, really sweet man, Fabio Frizzi. Let's see here. I sang on stage with Peter, Paul, and Mary. Wow, that's pretty rocking. Yeah, Goblin's a great choice. I wonder if I could get anyone from Goblin on the show. Because I know they split and there's two different versions, but I should look into that. And what's I gonna say? Oh, Geraldine, who do videos, and sometimes she is like she tried to show them live, but I could probably show pictures of them. She has a really great Suspiria tattoo on her leg. I think she's got the trilogy. Well, she's got two of the trilogy, and she's getting the third one. Let's see. Something to listen to while I wrap my wife's gifts. Entertain me, Neil. Hop up. He's got like a whip. It's like, dance monkey for me. Hello, OG Mumbling Nick. It's good to see you. He's a good guy. He gets unwarranted hate lately. I know this. But I've always liked OG Mumbling Nick. He's a good man. And he might come out when we film Arbor Day in the spring. He can be an extra. No, he can be like one of the cult members. Actually, would be good. Or you can just hang out and help out. Hippie birthday, yeah, happy birthday days. Mumbling Nick. Honestly, Mumbling Nick's one of the first people I think I befriended when I joined the Dabbleverse about a year ago, a little bit over a year ago now. I was thinking of doing I don't want to do like a regular Dabbleverse oriented show, but I would like to do a one-time show. I was going to call it Dead to Me, my 1 year with Stuttering John. And it's not to trash Stuttering John or anything, but I think it would be fun to just tell the 1 year story. When I first was on the show, I got kicked off, went back on, was kicked off multiple times. And just to have it in one finite show, get some clips together. Because I've talked about here and there are different shows, but sometimes people don't ask me the stuff that I would like to talk about or whatever. I think it'd be fun just to do a one-time thing. And again, it's not. I know he thinks like I just trash him all the time, but it's not. It's not really that. It's not. I mean, there might be a little like trashing, but I think it'd be fun to just tell the one whole story. I don't know. Okay. Let's see. I don't know. Liam and Neil had a beef. Yeah, actually. So my first run in the Dabbleverse was late last year. And then like I went away for a while because I did some movie stuff, and then I came back lately. But my first run in the Dabbleverse last year was a run-in with Liam on MLC, which it was definitely my best appearance in MLC. But it's clipped. It's up there if you ever want to check it out. It's me fighting with Liam. Just a really I was actually honestly trying to be nice to the guy, but he's a really weird attitude. Like I don't want to even really talk about him because I don't wish anything bad to the dude. But I could give him some look, that's great he's going to film school, but I could give him some real world advice from someone who has like experience with stuff. And I'm sure he has certain knowledge that I won't have because he's going to film school. But also real experience is also something you can't learn in a school. So I was honestly just offering some helpful advice, but he just kind of got a weird attitude with me. I do think though, honestly, it sounds stupid with unbanned, but this idea that just make your movie is good advice, because otherwise this stuff is just, if something's in your head and you never do anything, what is it? It's nothing really. It's nothing. So everyone, not everyone, but like any movie fan where there's something, or anybody who's like a movie guy or movie girl, like you have ideas in your head, but if you don't do anything with them, it's never going to go anywhere. And I think a lot of it is like the fear of like, it's going to suck. I don't have the right equipment. I don't have enough money. So if you just make something, and you might have to like, well, I don't have the money to do this, but I can do it this way. I don't have this camera, but I've got this camera. You know what I'm saying? Make it. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect to what you envision, but if you make it, it's done. And then you've got experience. Now you can make something else. Now you might be able to make something better. You also are probably going to meet people, which is an experience unto itself. But also, if you do festivals or whatever, there's all these things that an action can something can come from that. So, for example, how I got involved at all, I was going to festivals as press. People liked me. It was right after I got sick. I had a surgery. I was recovering from the surgery. One of the things from the surgery was I would not have a belly button anymore. And so my friend was like, let's make a documentary about the loss of your belly button. And I thought they meant just like a straight documentary. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. But the idea was a mockumentary. And so we filmed this during Boston Underground Film Festival. Umbilicus Desidero, very fun, in my opinion. And so anyway, we made the short films, 4 minutes long. It got picked up by festivals all over the world. And so I toured with this short film about the loss of my belly button. And from there, it led to me meeting other people. It led to me making a feature film, 2 feature films. The Once a Feature Smash End Zone 2. And then that I toured with in England and across the country. And doing that led me to meet other people, which led me to act in other people's films. It led me to produce some other independent horror films with people or for people. And now I hope to direct my first movie. So the point is to just do it doesn't even have to be movies. Whatever it is like you would like to do, we're only here once. Maybe you're here more if you believe in other things, but do what you can while you're here. That's my advice. Class of '96 takes the biggest hits. Oh, I think he's must have graduated in 96. Merry Christmas. Thank you, Reverend Rage. Merry Christmas to you. Hi, Bratoki. Dude, I want to come live with you sometime and talk movies, music, and games. Where are you, Days? Live. Yeah. I was a little concerned there for a minute. I want to come live with you. Like, oh, okay. But yeah, come on live. Yeah, we're live every Thursday for our regular show. I just happened to pop on tonight. Our regular Thursday show, it's me and Troy, Tara, and AJ. And so we usually open the show with a guest, like a movie guest, usually independent horror person or someone from an older movie. And then we open up the line so you can come on in and talk about whatever. And we do that every week, so it'd be fun. And then every once in a while I'll pop on like this, but every Thursday we're live. Not tomorrow because of Christmas. I'm not even agreeing or disagreeing with this guy giving me the history lesson, but it's really not the place for it. But if you want to go on about it, it's fine. I almost don't want to say this because we're going to do our top 13 list, Dave. We'll do our annual top 13 list in January. This was a hard year. I'll be honest. There's some great horror movies that came out this year. I'll just give you a list. I won't put them in any. This is not in any order. But I love Sinners, which I know is kind of a go-to answer for a lot of people. Bring Her Back. If you want very disturbing, dark, Bring Her Back. I liked him a lot. I don't know if it's going to be my top list, but I liked it a lot. The Monkey, if you want something just fun, like a fun over-the-top horror comedy, you got Monkey. I have a list. I actually keep a list. I do this because of the shows. Every time I see a movie I really like, I keep it in this notebook. So when we do our annual show, it's easier to narrow down. Because otherwise, I used to try to do it by memory and be like, oh, I really love blah, blah, blah. And I'd look it up and like it came out 5 years ago or something. But and then she also go to a lot of festivals. You see a lot of indie stuff. The only issue with that is the years get a little mixed up because sometimes you'll see a movie at a festival, and so I'll put it on the list, but technically it really comes out the next year. Because I did see some movies that are considered the best this year that I'd actually was on my list last year just because I saw it at a festival last year. Now, I think it's a good question. I just don't want to go too far into it, Dave, because we're going to do a whole show about our top 13 in January, probably the 8th, I think, but we'll figure that out. I'll see. I know. Oh, it doesn't matter. We might have some guest co-hosts on that one. Liam got a giant chip on his shoulder. Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I'm trying to be a nice guy here, but agree. He's just very, very smug for no particular reason. It's very weird. I mean, I'll send you the link if you want it. Just message me on X or something. It's like 40 minutes. I don't know if you really want to watch the whole thing. He's a very smug, and I'm a fan. I actually used to think, I think he can be really funny because I actually like a dry sense of humor, and he does have that. I know it's good advice to just make stuff. That's my point. What I would like to find out is if Liam is just too lazy or if he doesn't really have any ideas. I honestly think he's just kind of stuck in this mindset that he has to be perfect and he has to finish school. And I'm not even saying that that's wrong in any way, but I do think, he has worked on things. He's like been part of a movie that was on at South by Southwest, I think. My God, we'll have our home again. There we go, Luke. Not sure what that's in reference to. I'm a stray. Well, you're part of the headless family. You're a headite nowadays. You can't once you're here, you can't leave. It's like Hotel California. Yeah. Oh no, I'm a fan of Osgood Perkins. I'm in the exact opposite. I think Osgood Perkins has really proved that he's like a horror master because he has made 3 really great, maybe I mean, honestly think Gretel Hansel's really good too. But he's made 3 really unique horror movies just in 2 years. So Long Legs, The Monkey, and then what was the newest? Keeper. Really completely different styles of horror movies, which is hard to do because Monkey's like very over the top, silly horror comedy, and then you had Keeper, which is completely opposite of that, and I really liked it. Yeah, I know people say this, but I think it only in just like the most like surface way is it like Dusk Till Dawn. It's just like the idea, like, you know, it's kind of a movie that becomes a vampire movie, but I think there's much more to it. That was one of the great best experience I saw at a theater. It was while I was making Our Man Funk, and it was a night I didn't need to be on set, and there was a IMAX theater by our hotel, and they were playing it, and it was so packed. I couldn't believe it because usually modern movies, you know, you don't go to the movies and there's not that many people there. And they made us, and it was a giant, like, I don't know, it was like 600 seat theater. It was only one screen. It was just IMAX, and they only had one screen. And it was just, you know, Sinners playing. And they made us all like, you had to squeeze in. You couldn't leave any empty seats. I'd gone to stuff like that when I was younger. Like, I remember going to see Jurassic Park and it being like you had to wait in a line, but really not in years had I been to anything that big. Yeah, I don't really know a lot about it. I just know that it played at South by Southwest. I do know when I used to talk to him before I was in the Dabbleverse, and I don't even know if he realizes that, but we used to chat with each other. And at that time, he told me he wanted to be, he saw himself as like the next Woody Allen or a young Woody Allen, or not even that young, yes, but he wanted to be like a Woody Allen kind of guy. And the last time I saw him, he was talking about wanting to make indie horror movies. And the thing with that is, I think a lot of people say that today. It's not because they're an actual horror fan and they love horror movies and they want to make a horror movie. They know that horror movies have a built-in audience and you can make a low budget. There's no guarantee you'll make money with a low budget horror movie, but you have a much better chance to make a low budget horror movie and it make like, so if you have a no budget, low budget horror movie, there is a built-in audience who just likes horror movies. You don't really have that in any other genre. Like, there's not really like, oh, I love dramas. I'm just going to go see a drama that was made for, you know, $5,000 that stars nobody. But there is an audience that will watch a horror movie that costs very little. And it might not have anybody you've ever heard of in it. Like when Terrifier started, it has no stars. David Howard Thornton is known at all because of Art the Clown. But when the first one, he wasn't. So no one knew who he was. No one knew who Damien Leone was. I think it cost like, I don't know, it didn't cost very much. I think it cost under $100,000. And people watch it because it's a horror movie. And then like through word of mouth, it got out there. So I'm not a gatekeeper. People can do whatever they want. But there's a difference between like making something because you really believe in it and making something because you think, oh, this is a low budget genre that has a chance of people watching it. I am streaming on different platforms. I'll be honest. Sometimes when I do this, I did do this one specifically on my wrestling podcast and my horror movie podcast, just because at the time I was just going to open presents, but kind of became a horror movie show. But sometimes it automatically does it in the phone version and the PC version, which is kind of interesting. Because I do think we've got 2 separate chats going. I think Days and Vagina Wrinkle, and I think most people are in the phone and the vertical one, and then like other people another one. I don't know. It's kind of neat. I think that it gives people the option, but It'd be nice if the chat was just one chat. Osgood just smashes together old concepts and does them worse. I really don't agree. I actually think he's a really talented filmmaker. Longlegs. Now, I don't think just a movie making money means anything, but Longlegs was the biggest neon film. You know, again, a low budget is kind of a broad term. A low budget for a theatrically released film was under 10 million. And made over 100 million. It was their first movie to break 100 million. And Gretel and Hansel, which one of his previous movies, I think was I'm a big fan. I think he's a really talented guy. Because I'm trying to keep up, but sometimes it's random. Yeah, there's different. I probably is confusing if I'm talking to different people that you don't see. Let's see. And I'm number 2. Oh, I don't know. That's weird. I have no idea. I actually agree with Weapons. My brother and I did a review of Weapons. I was not a fan of Weapons. People went crazy for it. And I thought it was I really didn't like it, honestly. I thought Josh Brolin was really good in it, but I think his acting was almost like in a totally different movie. I really disliked the main actress in it. I don't think there was anyone likable besides the Josh Brolin character. You don't really. The woman's a bad person, so I really didn't care about her. The cop was a bad cop, so I didn't care about him. The end's I think that the whole movie was kind of like the end where that was kind of over the top comedy with the old woman being chased by the kids. I actually might have liked it, but by that point it's kind of more of a more serious movie, and then you got this really almost like a Monty Python-esque scene, but people loved it, so that's good. I'm happy that people liked it, but I really didn't dig it. You know what? I didn't see Companion. That's one I want to watch before our year-end. So I go and see almost everything, but for some reason, I don't know if it was I was making for some reason that came out a period of time I didn't get to the theater, so I did not see Companion, but I've heard really good things and it looked good to me. I like Together a lot. That's another one that's actually on my list that some people didn't like. I thought it was really well done. And I know one of our guys who does our reviews on our website, Todd, he didn't like the ending, but I thought the ending really worked. And that was and you know what? I thought the ending was unexpected. I really didn't expect him to go that route. And I really liked it a lot. I thought it was darker than expected. I also thought I think the whole not the backstory, but kind of just the whole mythology that they made for the movie worked. And I think they showed enough of the mythology for you to get the idea, but not go too deep into it where you're just being read to we're reading to you this myth from long ago. I liked it a lot. I thought it was well acted. Oh, did you see Influencers? I really liked Influencers. I don't know if they both come out the same year, but Influencers I liked a lot. That just came out. I had the guest on the two of the leads and the director on the show. I don't know, a few weeks ago. I really liked it. The reason the Conjuring movies did so well is because they did show the monsters, their shadows. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm not a huge fan of those movies, but yeah, they're kind of like a classic haunted house movie. I always think that's the problem with it. Why the first part of it's always the best, the first half, when they're kids. Because the ending of it, you can't, to really show what Pennywise is, you almost don't want to show anything. You want to leave it open to the audience because, it's the deadlights and what Pennywise is. He's not a clown. It's, it's really what you fear most. So how do you shoot that? You really have to, I think you could do it. You have to do it in a stylized way where it's left up to your imagination. But I think you also have to have the confidence in your storytelling and your audience that that's going to work. And I'm sure there's producers like, you can't have this 4 or 5 hour story and then it ends and like you don't actually see what Pennywise really is. So, but that's why then we get a big spider in the first one, and it's like, that's Pennywise. And then the second one, they're like, well, we knew like that's underwhelming, so let's like have this big giant goofy dude and like all this craziness, and that didn't really work either. So, for both versions, I think the first chapter is far better. In the newer one, I think the first chapter is fantastic, and the second chapter I don't think is particularly good at all. There's also a lot of weird comedy I don't think worked in the second chapter of the movie. I there's pluses and minuses to both, especially Pennywise, because I think people go with the original Pennywise because they love the actor, and I think he does a great job. But really, I think it was smart not to like, let's just get someone who acts just like Tim Curry. And so the newer one for Pennywise, they did a good job in making it seem otherworldly. So it's not an evil clown. It's a dark evil being within this. You're hiding under like the guise of a clown. And so I like that there's two different versions of it. There's other, I know you didn't even bring up it, but it just got me thinking of it. Yeah, they're very effective films, and they're huge successes, 100%. And I mean, they spawned a whole universe, all these, offshoots like the Nun movies and stuff. Yeah, I'm a big fan of it too, Dave Deadman. I do, for the most part, I like movies that are that people are split on. I think that's usually a good sign for a movie. Merry Christmas, Christ is King. Merry Christmas. Yeah, it was a good flick. I'm sure it was. See, I just disagree, but that's cool. Unbanned. I don't know what to call you, Unbanned. That's a very long name, Unbanned. Josh Denny fan. Sinners try to be more than Dust Till Dawn, but end up being less. I don't agree. I'm actually a big fan of Dust Till Dawn too, but I think they're really such different movies. It's just that, just very surface level, the comparison. Dust Till Dawn's very much more action comedy. There's definitely more depth to Sinners, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, you can just go and watch a movie and have fun. Also, I thought it was great performances all around. When I went to see it twice, so I've met the IMAX. Then when my brother and I took our mom to go see it, and she didn't even know it was the same guy playing both parts, the twins. And then the guy who plays the villain, I thought was great too. He's the leader of the cult in those the 28 years later. Really didn't like that character. I know you only see him for like a minute. So hopefully I like him better in the next one. What do you think? Oh, Talk to Me is great. So if you didn't realize, when I mentioned earlier, what was the movie I mentioned? Bring Her Back. Their first movie, the folks who made that, was Talk to Me. Another super dark movie. We get a lot darker movies, like theatrically released dark movies, graphic movies, and their follow-up, Bring Her Back, probably the darkest movie I saw this year. Very, very dark movie. And I don't want to even talk too much about it. There's also a real rise I've noticed lately in movies and TV shows about like children being kidnapped. And I assume that's just because of what's happening around the world here. I want to watch a whole movie on just the two brothers opening a speakeasy. Yeah, I agree. Great music in it too. Do you like A24 movies, Heredity and Witch? Depends on them. I like a lot of them. I like Hereditary. I like The Green Knight. I like Midsummer a lot. I'm actually not a big fan of The Witch, and most people love The Witch. I think it looks terrific, but I'm not a big fan of the movie. But a lot of people love it. Do you know that song says Merry Christmas? Never heard of it. Let's see. Convention can be subverted to make something fun. Yeah, that's true. Antisocial 1 and 2. Da, da, da. Let's see. Santa Claus, please give us gift online Santa. That's from Board Topper Classes. All right. Is that just like a spam thing? Let's see. Dude, Conjuring's not just a haunted house movie. Oh, no, I understand. I'm just saying a lot of what makes it spooky is, showing like shadows or whatnot. I think, a lot of what makes that work is like classic haunted house tropes. And I don't mean that as a negative. I'm just saying I think that's why the movie works. Let's see. Dave and Unbanned are talking about Sinners. That's cool. Sinners good, but a bit slow. It's not for me, but I get it. I mean, I'm more of a 70s film guy, so I get it. I like Dusk Till Dawn too. Are you over 40? I am. I am Zenebi. 35 today for days. Well, enjoy your 30s. That's a good age to be 35. The Witch was best Eggers film. I'm not a real big Eggers fan. They all look great. I really dislike The Lighthouse, honestly. I like, probably my favorite's The Northman. And it's weird because a lot of Eggers fans, that's their least favorite. But Northman was my favorite. There's stuff I like in The Witch. My biggest complaint about The Witch, especially from people who say it's like empowering to women, I don't get that at all. Because the girl sells her soul to the male devil just because like he talks to her through a goat and says live deliciously. But even if you take all that out, I don't think there's there's no temptation there for her to sell her soul and become a witch. Because all she ever sees from the witch is just like this vile thing. It's like she sees this old nasty woman. And she sees it killing like her brother and her family, and then she sees it as the goat. So I think for me, in my opinion anyway, I know a lot of people love it. There needs to be more temptation for her to go float in the woods. But it looks fantastic. Go to bed. The fuck, Bruce? You can't tell me what to do, bitch. Instead of Bruce Briscoe, more like Bruce Bitchko, I say. Hey now. Hey, Tazo, what's your favorite horror movie this year? Yeah, I believe Tazo is lurking around in the chat. We've got 2 chats going on. I'm not a big Eggers fan either. I loved it. See, I saw The Northman twice. That was a movie that in the theater that really so I'm a big sword and sorcery fan. And so I love, like, as a kid, Excalibur and the Conan the Barbarian. And those are like adult sword and sorcery movies. And then that they moved into like real camp, like in the 90s with like Xena, Warrior Princess, and Hercules. I was not a big fan of those. The Northman was the first one that felt more like stuff that I like Excalibur. So that was a movie that really worked for me. I'm more of a ham man. Why do Hicks like Viking things? I don't know. I'm from Massachusetts. So I don't know. I'm not saying it's a bad thing either. I just think it has more substance than run-of-the-mill haunted house. Oh yeah. No, I mean I just kind of think it's like a perfected haunted house. Is kind of what I'm saying. It's kind of like when I was saying the Salem's Lot book. It's not necessarily breaking any new ground, but King like perfects like the classic vampire tale in it. I think that's why it works. It's not necessarily that there's a lot of new stuff in it. It's just he took a classic vampire tale and really perfected it. I wish I was 35. I turned 47 release. You can't believe how old I'm getting. Well, we had a couple less than 2 months. So start getting your presents ready. I will be 50, the big 50. So I think I deserve some gifts. Merry Christmas to the last real man of podcast. Yeah, the babyface gangsta. Oh, that's an old school member of the group. I haven't seen you around for a while. Babyface gangsta. Yeah, 20 years of podcasting. Really wasted my life doing this. I'm just kidding. As I am a Vamp fan. All right. You know what? 40 was the worst year of my life. And then it was followed by probably about 4 very bad years. And then 45 on was 45 on has been very good for me. Knock on wood. Neil Jones, love Alf. He eats cats. I'm a big cat man. Many cats in my life. My last cat I had over 20 years, which was very hard to lose. When you have a pet for over 20, I had two, the cat and the dog, Faye and Aldo. I had over 20. I had from when I was junior high into my 30s until I was like 35, and then they both died the same year. So that was very rough. I don't even know how old the dog was because the dog was a rescue dog that an old woman rescued. And then that woman had sewn all these clothes for Aldo. And then she was moving and couldn't take the dog. My cousin got it from her. My cousin, not the greatest guy, was going to toss the dog out on the side of the road. And I was like, I'll take it. And so I was like 12 or something, 12, 13, like that. I was 7th grade, so 13, I think. And then I had over 22 years, I think. So, and he had to be a couple years old, I would assume. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe even older. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe Aldo was the oldest dog that ever lived. I don't know. But he was over 20 years old. I had him over 20 years. Spoiled little Aldo and Faye the cat. Aldo was a miniature pinscher. Doberman pinscher. But yeah, they both died the same year. And I've never got a pet since because I really should, I guess. That's been 14 years now. Damn. But it was just like, it's hard anyway to lose a pet, but when you lose 2 pets around the same time, they get over 20 years. Like, wow. Favorite Bible verse? I don't know. Stay clever. I have a real question for you. So the only time I read the Bible is actually in school, in a public school. In English class, we didn't read the whole Bible. We did this thing called the Bible as in literature. And we read the Bible, and it was to teach us like prototypes of storytelling. So it was like the Jesus figure, the underdog with David and Goliath. It's actually very interesting. It's basically, you could also, another word for that is the hero's journey. which is like, Star Wars, and many movies have, used that basic concept, the hero's journey. But a lot of it does go back to the Bible. So it is helpful actually in writing scripts and things. But so nobody in my school ever had an issue with that. No families were like, we don't want our kid reading the Bible, even if they weren't religious like my family. The only people who had a problem with it was one religious family, because they called it the Bible as in literature, because they said it was not literature. But I would think even if you believe it's written by God, it would still be a literature, wouldn't it? How's the rabbit carcass on the floor? I don't know. That was like 20 years ago, maybe. My name is Neil. Nasty Neil. It's actually right there on the screen. Adam Bush suggested I use the whole name, Nasty Neil Jones, instead of just Nasty Neil, to get my IMDb up there, which is probably a good idea. My body is becoming a haunted house. I'm going to exercise that ass, Dave. A creaky wooden house of cobwebs and loose boards. 52 on Friday. Dave Deadman is correct, son of Billy Wagner. Virgin detected. By who? Yo, mama? Are they going to sacrifice somebody? A virgin sacrifice? Imagine expecting a wrestling show and the host gains his second win to stick around, a gift opening for another 2 hours answering horror questions. Well, I am streaming this on, you're on the Facebook, but I'm streaming this on Without Your Head and In Your Heads. I didn't name it wrestling or anything. Channel, whatever. Merry Christmas to all. I'm 45 and won't mention my condition for fear of dreaded jinx. Werewolf of Sicily. Haroo! Werewolf of Sicily. Werewolf of Sicily is a good man. I like that guy. You have to call into the show sometime when we are live on our regular Thursday show. The Bible is old WWE. Well, yeah, I mean, you could make WWE is definitely wrestling itself is very much a good versus evil, very basic, good versus evil. Nasty Neil is just a classic WWE name. Yeah, that's true. There used to be a job guy in WCW, Nasty Ned Brady. Did you ever see him? I wonder if he's still around. I'd like to track him down to get on the show. Nasty Ned Brady and Nasty Neil Jones. I found him, Nasty Ned Brady. Oh, wow. He's got like a shoot interview. I guess someone's already found him. Yeah, I remember him wrestling. I see Mick Foley here. I remember him wrestling Mick Foley. It looks like he must have been like might have been like a name like in like the Indies, or the not necessarily Indies at the time. I guess they would have been the territories. But there he is, Nasty Ned Brady. It's very funny. I remember like all these like job guys from the 80s and 90s, but I don't know if I'll remember a lot of like the stars of today. Oh, here's actually my favorite. That's not Ned Brady though. That's the Gambler. And people fans of my wrestling show, I've tried to find the Gambler for years. That was one of my favorite obscure job guys. I thought it was kind of a neat gimmick. He came out with a deck of cards. He was the Gambler. I think he's from like Vegas. Nasty Ned Brady. Josh from Jersey. Nasty Neil is badass. Well, I appreciate that, Josh. By the way, the Tommy Jordan has offered me a free room if I go to the MLC show in Jersey, in AC. Should I head out there? Will you be there, Josh? Unbanned Josh Denny fan. Always do the opposite of anything Adam Bush suggests. Look, we're listening to Adam Bush. Good Danny Masterson. Fair enough. There are no truth to the rumors that Adam Bush and Danny Masterson sacrificed kittens to Moloch. Damn. Has there ever been a Moloch movie? Because I had never heard of Moloch until like the last few years with the rise of all this stuff. And I used to think, man, what a bunch of bullshit. But now it's like, well, they found this like temple on the Epstein. I don't want to go and tell this stuff, but there's a friggin' temple on Epstein Island. Maybe there is some of this Moloch stuff. Either way, it would make a good horror movie, a Moloch horror movie. Merry Christmas, Headyverse. I promise I'll be around more in 2026. Good man, Raider Dre, one of the OG In Your Head Wrestling fans. By the way, any new people here that's either listening on the horror site or from the Dabbleverse, I also do a wrestling show on Tuesdays. This week, I'm actually doing it tomorrow on Christmas, under a different name, Jackie Jones, and that's IYH Wrestling, In Your Head Wrestling, in your head without your head, if you're into wrestling. And I'll be doing a show Sunday with Earl Skakel, where we're going to review the AEW pay-per-view. Tip the host. Is that yours? My super tip idea is without your head, but I don't have it. It's all set up, but I don't. If you would do it, I don't think I could pop up the voice. I don't know if I can make my own voices. I did think about doing some horror related voices if I'm able to. We'll see. SD Special Delivery Jones, the Brooklyn Brawler, the Gambler. Yeah, there's a lot of great job guys. I've never had any of those particular folks on my wrestling show, but I've had Mario Mancini for Great Jobbers, the Conquistadors. I know some other folks who was the Duke of Dorchester, Pete Doherty, which is a personal favorite local jobber of mine from out of Boston. Mick Foley, great wrestler or greatest wrestler. So when I was a kid growing up, my favorite wrestler was Roddy Piper. And then around the 90s or so, Mick Foley was my guy. Cactus Jack, and then Mankind. What's this? Coyote or LS? I'm not sure what that means. Moloch was a demon in season 1 of Buffy. All right. If you look into the Moloch, the actual history, it is pretty interesting. Watch out for Tommy. He'll try sipping in the old Hagen. Yeah, I don't know. He'd be like, I'm a cup of coffee. I don't think that's a cup of coffee there. Tommy, what are you doing? I will not. I have my own Super Bowl shindig. KB will not be there. That's very true. But Tukey and Melton would be there, which is way better than MLC. I don't want to mention if I find anybody funny. It'll get very and to be perfectly honest, at the end of the day, I don't freaking care who's funny or who people think's funny. OG Mumbling Nick. I love Adam Bush. He did a great Stuttering John version of 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. I've not heard that. I actually chat with Adam, not like a regular, but every once in a while. We actually have a lot of common stuff outside of the Dabbleverse. Like he's been in some horror stuff. He does festivals like me. Do Ghostface. Like, what do you mean doing? Do you do podcasts with famous people? Yeah, all the time. So Sid Haig's been on the show, Kane Hodder, Crispin Glover, Betsy Palmer from the original Friday the 13th, Victor Miller, who wrote Friday the 13th. So our regular show is every Thursday, and we almost always have a guest on the show. And then we watch some new horror movie trailers, and we take video calls. It's a fun time. So check us out. Subscribe and hit that icon, the bell icon, so you get a notification every time we go live. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat was my favorite wrestler as a little kid. Best arm drag. Yeah, Ricky's awesome. It's really weird. When I was a kid, I hated Steamboat because I really disliked all the good guys, and he was like the ultimate goody like him and like the Rock and Roll Express. But as I get older, you watch him, oh shit, he was awesome. I like the heels, which is almost like hack today. Like everyone likes the heels, but back then it wasn't. Like most people, because my grandfather, that's how I started watching wrestling. My grandparents were big wrestling fans, and my grandfather Like, he just loved all the baby. He loved Junkyard Dog and Hulk Hogan, Dusty Rhodes, Ricky Steamboat. Actually, that's one of my first memories. It was Magnificent Morocco, and he wasn't The Rock yet. Magnificent Morocco, Mr. Fuji, and they hang Ricky Steamboat. As an idea, I got Matthew Lillard podcast. I'm not sure what you got him for the show, or I'm not sure what that means. Dave Deadman, John Howard is still my favorite guest. Hey, now I'm trying to get so people don't know the origin of Without Your Head. So In Your Head actually predates Without Your Head, the wrestling show. The first year of the wrestling show, we did a Halloween special, and we're like, let's call it Without Your Head. We had a good time, so we started doing it as a regular show. And so the founding fathers are me, Troy, and John Howard. At the time, we used different names, and then eventually started using our real names. Now, it wasn't even Nasty Neil to begin with. This is Neil Jones. And then Ari Mihailov, who plays Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw 3D, or not 3D, in Part 3, he started calling me Nasty Neil, and I thought it was very funny because they're not particularly nasty, which I always get a kick out of people like, this guy's not nasty. And I just thought it was funny, honestly, so I just started using it. Oh, Werewolf of Sicily. Werewolf of Sicily. $5. Thank you. I'm losing my voice here. I just saw it. Welcome to Derry, and I like it despite its flaws. Any thoughts on it? Movie, series, book. I like Pennywise level as a horror icon. So I was actually talking Pennywise a little earlier. I've not seen Welcome to Derry. I need to watch it. My mom loves it. My brother loves it. So I love the book, and I really like both film versions, the old TV series and the new series. I think the strength of both of them are the first half when they're kids. And I have problems. Well, I even think the book, honestly, I think that's the strongest part of the book. I think even though I think the ending of the TV series is obviously lackluster with the spider, but I do think they got something right that the film version did not. And that is to beat Pennywise as adults, they have to use their imagination that you lose, your child imagination that you lose as an adult. So like the spray that really is just a what do you call the it's a fake medication that just works in your mind. And he's like, that's battery acid. And the bike, it's like the bike can outrun fear. And so all these things that weren't real, but they used their imagination to make them into weapons. And I think that's a huge part of the story, because as you grow as an adult, you lose this imagination. And they have to get it back to beat Pennywise. It's not even mentioned at all in the new version. I think that's a huge mistake, and I don't even really know why it's left out. That also in the bully, because the bully is a vital part. In the new version, he just dies as a kid. The old version, he's crazy, goes insane. He's driven insane by the deadlights. And then he is needed he's almost Renfield in a way, where he's, a mortal human being who can do stuff for Pennywise that Pennywise can't. And again, he's not used in the new one. As far as Pennywise goes, I actually really like both versions. It's hard to knock Tim Curry's portrayal of Pennywise, but his portrayal of Pennywise is really an evil clown, and that's not really accurate to the book, to the source material. So in a lot of ways, I think the new version is a little more accurate to the source material, because he's clearly an otherworldly being. He's an otherworldly being that's just inside a clown vessel. The vessel looks like a clown. They get the eyes going the wrong way. It's not like just an evil like a pervert clown guy. But I like both versions, and I also think that doing a different style of each one is best, because otherwise people would just say, "Oh, this isn't Tim Curry." Or you can't just like recreate. It's like actually when they did the new Evil Dead and they didn't have the Ash character, I actually think that was smart, because you can't replace Ash. You can't have someone else. You can't have someone else play Ash. It has to be Bruce Campbell. So it's better just not to have that character. And you can't not have Pennywise, so you just do a different version. But I've not seen this new one, but I did see today that Chapter 3 is coming out, and they think that it's going to be tied into this Welcome to Derry. And I know I don't know if there's more characters, and I don't really want any spoilers, but I know that the Scatman Crothers character from The Shining. I know that's not the character's name from The Shining. He's actually in the show. By the way, I'm not going to be able to remember. There's at least 2 other books that from King that has Pennywise. Well, not necessarily Pennywise, but it's I'm not going to remember the name. It's actually one of my favorite King books. It's more of a sci-fi horror. It's about time travel where a guy goes back in time to try to stop the JFK assassination. And at one point he goes back to time and he's in Derry and he's talking to the kids. And then there's also a lot about, they never say Pennywise, but it's the evil force. It's very interesting. And then there's a newer one, just came out a couple years ago, and I almost didn't read it because the cover looked like it was like a film noir or something, like a private eye thing. And I was like, I don't know if I really care about this. But it was great. It was a sequel to it, but it's not. You don't know till about halfway through the book. And it was a big surprise. And I never hear anyone talk about that book, and I can't remember the name of it. Josh from Jersey. Have you interviewed anyone from Troma Studios? They're Jersey legends. Did you see the remake with Peter Dinklage? Yeah, actually, I've got the Toxic Avenger. So, Josh, actually, this summer, I filmed a movie, Our Man Funk, and I played the main villain. And we actually went to Troma Studios and filmed some of it there. It was my first time ever there. It was an amazing experience. Everyone at Troma was awesome. Lloyd Kaufman's been on the show many times over the years, from 2006 till this year. He was on earlier this year. So he's been on, I don't know, like 8 or 9 times probably. Maybe more. I don't know. 8 or 9 times I've interviewed him in person on the show. Great guy. This last show he actually got mad at me, but since then we've talked it out. He's apologized. I apologized to him too. So, but yeah, a lot of Troma people. Bill Whedon's been is actually a friend of mine. Bill Whedon, who he played Sergeant. He played the villain in Sergeant Kabuki Man. And another thing. So my return this year, I used to host a lot of panels at conventions, and then I stopped like when I got sick, and then I just didn't do it for years after that. And then so I returned this year, and I the first convention I had done for years, and it was I hosted the 40th anniversary Toxic Avenger panel with the original cast. It was that was a really really good time. I had the video somewhere. If you want the link, I'll show it to you if you'd like. But yeah, lots of Troma people over the years have been on the show. I'm a Troma guy. Remake of yeah, I like the remake. Like, it's different, which I think is good. When you remake something, I don't think you should just do the exact same thing. But I think that it's got enough where it feels like Toxic Avenger. But they did some different stuff. And I thought Peter Dinklage was really fun in it. Do you know SawCon? I don't know SawCon. I've definitely heard that name, but I'm not familiar with it. Why do white people have sex with dogs and horses? I don't know. Maybe that's are you saying dogs and horses are racist, that they won't have sex with people of color? I don't know. Do you want me to call him? Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, if you think he'd come on the show. This was earlier about Scream. Sorry, I'm behind. Yeah. And you can email withoutyourhead@gmail.com if you have any guest ideas. Does this mean he's got Matthew Lillard for a podcast interview, or he's a podcast about nothing but Matthew Lillard? Both would be exhausting. So I met Matthew a few times, but I've never had him on the show. Neil has only been a good person to me, and I've known him digitally for over 10 years. Well, thank you, Dave Deadman. I appreciate that. Was anyone saying otherwise? If they did, I missed it. Those meanie bajeenies. All right. Where am I? Trying to keep track of this chat here. I wish that StreamYard would give you a bigger space for the chat. They only give you this big of a space. All right. Maybe that was in reference to the dog. Hey man, how are you feeling tonight? Jake back, and I'm good. I'm doing good, thanks. I didn't expect to go this long, so I might be losing the voice a little bit. Emotionally for 15, I like that. I'm just glad to let the child. Yes, that is very true. That's the only thing. When I was reading it, and there's a term for it. I forget what they call it. When they basically have a big orgy, and they're all having sex with the girl, and it's really graphic. This is something I discovered when reading a lot of Stephen King. If people have pleasant sex, it's yeah, they had sex. It's like a sentence. If someone has either there's a graping, or there's just something really gross and disgusting, it's paragraph after paragraph. It's what the fuck? Super detailed. And then they have the girl talking about how one of the guys a little older, one of the kids was a little older, so he's bigger, and it hurt more. And I'm am I gonna be on some kind of list reading this? Someone gonna walk in, can you have a seat while you're reading it? Am I gonna be on To Catch a Predator or something? I mean, we all are. It's true. So by the way, never mind. I forget what I was gonna say. Nothing a god palm cutting wouldn't accomplish. There you go. Henry Bowers was pretty useless. Yeah, he's completely useless. Yeah, exactly. So why even have him at all? He just is there and gets killed. He's got no point at all in the remake. I like that they kept its origin. Yeah, there's stuff that they did good, and there's stuff that I wasn't a huge fan. Do you want me to call Skeet Ulrich too? Yeah, call them all up. Get them on the show if you think they would come on. Where was I? Let me scale up here. Right. Just trying to keep track of the chat here. I love that they're so different from Werewolf. Yeah, I like that too. I know. I think you've having some good contributions. Dick Halloran, yeah, that's the Shining character I was trying to think of. Not that I want to promote other YouTube channels, but do you watch Dead Meat or CZ's World? Both are great if you like horror. I have not. I'm not sure. I've heard of Dead Meat. I've not heard of the other one. 'Tis the season. It is the season. Yeah, enjoy yourself, Werewolf. The distinction you're making is irrelevant, but I'm not really sure what you're talking about. The distinction between what? I don't know. Lloyd Kaufman is the East Coast Roger Corman legend. That's awesome. Yeah, Lloyd's a good guy. His wife's really cool too. When we met in person for a return of Nukem High, it was a screening up in New Hampshire. And so Lloyd was I was like, can I film just to get the kind of, I was wanting to film a little bit to get the crowd reaction, because we did a video interview. And he's like, film the whole movie. And then his wife was like, a little bit. Toxic Avengers classic. Yeah, I'm a huge fan. And it completely holds up. You watch it now and you're like, damn, this is a really good movie. super low budget movie. It's got an awesome car chase. All the car scenes are great. The transformation scene, I'd say, is better, actually, a lot better than the remake. I didn't think the remake did a great job on the transformation, but the old school, like real physical effects transformation is great. Because at that time, it's before Trauma is Trauma. So Lloyd's got to prove himself with Toxic Avenger and then Nuke 'Em High movies and stuff. So he's like going all out. And then when Trauma becomes Trauma, no offense to Lloyd, because I like Lloyd, but then you can kind of rest on some things like, oh, well, the Trauma fans will want some fart jokes and poop jokes and that kind of stuff. But it didn't have a built-in fan base at that time. So it's like, it's really good filmmaking. I think it's like the best of that kind of movie. Hey, Neil, have a very Merry Christmas and awesome 2026. Well, thank you, Dunder Mifflin. I appreciate that. Yeah, call Skeet Ulrich. Werewolf of Sicily. Do you remember Toxic Crusaders, the Toxic Adventure cartoon? They had to use the Toxie even on merchandise because of Marvel. Yeah. I used to have a T-shirt, I think. I remember when it was on, but I don't think I ever watched it. So there's a new documentary from Trauma. I forget the name of it, but it's about cons. It's about Trauma at Cannes Film Festival and about like how they're treated unfairly at cons because they're like, low budget and like kind of sleazy and stuff. So I really recommend it. Occupy Cons, it's called. I do. I'm not a huge fan of the first Purge, but I like a lot of the sequels, and I like what they did with it. I think the first one, they tried to, it's basically just a home invasion movie, but I kind of like a lot of the sequels that expanded the universe. Dave from Wendy's. Toxic Crusader has new movie with Peter Dinklage as a Toxic Crusader. It's Toxic Avenger. Yeah, I liked it. I got the popcorn bucket. It didn't do well, unfortunately, but they did a really miserable job at promoting it. They really didn't want it to be released at all for some reason. Me and Matthew Lillard only met at Comic-Con like twice. All right. Well, call him up. Say, hey, man, we met at Comic-Con. Come and do Without Your Head. But yeah, if you don't have contact, I could probably find contact to at least ask him to come on the show. So anyway, yeah. So next Thursday, we'll be live with the fine folks of New Fears Eve, and then I think the 8th, that'll be the first. On the 8th, I think we're going to do our annual top 13 list where we all have our top 13 horror films. And then the 15th, we'll be live with the fine folks of the movie The Fetus, which is about a killer fetus, which sounds like a good time. And then we're going to do a sword and sorcery show, which it's going to deviate a little bit from horror, but there's a lot of horror elements in a lot of the sword and sorcery films. And we're doing that because I will be a guest at the Banquet of the Dying Daylight, which is a sword and sorcery medieval film festival. Well, not a film festival. It's like a banquet. It's kind of like a medieval times kind of deal. And I will be there with Master Zog, which is a puppet that I made, and it'll be an Arbor Day, and it'll also be in a sword and sorcery movie next year. So really, the puppet is going to be at the convention, and I'm the +1. So you can come and meet the puppet and get photo ops with the puppet, and get I'll do a photo bomb in the picture. The Bondsman was Kevin Bacon. Is fire. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to take off. I want everyone to have a happy, Merry Christmas. Enjoy yourself with your family and your loved ones. Great horror series. All right, I'll have to check that out. Thank you for the recommendation. Please subscribe here. Hit the like button if you would if you would like to help support the channel. You can become a member or make a donation. By the way, Werewolf of Sicily, for making a $5 donation, you are getting a number in our Wrestling Royal Rumble contest. How this works is whoever gets whatever number you get, Whoever comes out the number represents you in the Rumble. If you win an 8-bit pixel art drawn by me. Your number is 23. 23, Werewolf of Sicily. You are going on the list. Werewolf of Sicily. You are on the list. So the winner gets, this is what you get. You will get drawn by me, a 8-bit pixel art rendition of yourself. That's Jonathan Jackson, the winner of last year, in the middle there, in the ring, surrounded by some wrestlers and some fans out there. So that's what you can win if you win the Royal Rumble contest. It'll be fun. Yes, 23 is a number. Can I send a $100 gift? You most certainly can, Josie. I would appreciate that. So you can super chat, or you can Venmo. You can Venmo at Headyverse, HEADYVERSE, or you could PayPal. Let me write all this stuff down. You can PayPal without your head. That would help cover a lot of expenses here at the show. Or you could Venmo at Headyverse. Or you could super chat. I do have a super tip, but it's not up on the screen yet. But we will have that in the future. Let me scroll up here, see what I missed. Thank you, Werewolf of Sicily. You're a good man. It's good having you around. Now, sometimes I joke about, like, why am I part of the Dabbleverse? But honestly, I meet some cool people like Vagina Wrinkle and Werewolf of Sicily. I think on band Josh Denny used to hate me, but I kind of think I've won him over. So I think we're pals now. Until maybe it's all a swerve. But no, you seem cool. Yeah, 23 is your number. I am unironically happy. That is what we like to hear. I'm not anti-irony, but if you're happy, we don't want it ironic. Do you remember when Rocky Johnson made the DCU fall down with all of his time and with his power? I don't know what that means. Do I remember when Rock? Do you mean the Soul Man, Rocky Johnson, the Rock's dad, or do you mean Rock Johnson, DCU fall down? I do not remember this. I'm not sure what that's in reference to. Bob Backlund, that would be sweet if Bob Backlund came out. A quick little story. I'm in an old wrestling mag from was it the late 90s? Either late 90s or year 2000. I was at the Cape Cod Melody tent, and for whatever reason, he wasn't actively wrestling anymore. I was wearing it was a WWF event, and I was wearing a Bob Backlund for President pin. And Bob Backlund was outside the arena, the tent, the Cape Cod Melody tent, running. He was running for Congress, and he was there, and he's like, for a donation to his campaign, you'd sign like a T-shirt and stuff. And I had the button on my head. It was like the big oversized button, like this big, and so he got a picture with him, and I sent it to the Wow magazine, and they posted it, it was kind of funny. I have a picture somewhere, but it's pretty cool. But I saw the T-shirt too. It was a Bob Backlund for Congress T-shirt, and he signed it. And I never wore it. I just kept it because he signed it. And I know people always say then later on, you had to say all the presidents in order or something for him to get an autograph or for him to sign something for you or whatever. But Merry Christmas. Well, thank you, Latanya Vegas. I appreciate that. Another new friend here. Hit the like button, subscribe. I'm so happy I just peed a little. That's what we like. We like I think it would be nice if we all peed in unison. I think it would bond us all here. Black Adam, not a good movie. He means Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Okay, yeah. The Rock's cool. Do you like Barry Manilow? So are you a wrestling fan? So do you know the Mountie, Jacques Rougeau? Now, before he was the Mountie, he was in the tag team, the Rougeau brothers, with his brother Raymond. So it was Jacques and Raymond. And they had one of the greatest wrestling themes ever, the All-American Boys. So they come out, they're French Canadians, and the song goes, "We don't like heavy metal. We don't like rock and roll. All we listen to is Barry Manilow. Hey, we're all American boys. We're all American boys." So I hope that answers that question. You're part of the Dabbleverse. I guess so. I mean, I've been around. We're not here to talk Dabble. I mean, I'm not against talking it, but the show, this channel is not really a Dabbleverse channel. I pop in and out of the Dabbleverse myself, but this show is not really Dabbleverse. But I am pro Dabbleverse. I enjoy it. I have a good time. I don't really get the people who are part of the Dabbleverse and really hate it. It's just like, well, you're not forced to be here. You could just get out. Okay, guys. 3 hour. You've been here 3 hour, big boy. You leave now. But I want to thank everyone who sent in donations. I appreciate it. Bubba sent in a PayPal. I don't even know how much. I just know Bubba sent in a PayPal donation. I'm kind of excited to go see how much. So depending how much Bubba sent in, that's what I'm going to eat tomorrow at the Chinese restaurant. So either I might be getting some wonton soup, or I might be getting a poo-poo platter. It all depends on this donation. Vagina Wrinkle, she gifted a membership. I'm not sure to who, but we appreciate that. I don't know who got that. I have to look on the YouTube. And my pal Werewolf of Sicily sending some money. But look, I'm going to do the show either way. I enjoy it, but helping out does help out the show. So I appreciate that. Fenterline. I don't know what that means. I think it's some type of drug reference. I'm actually straight edge. I don't mean that facetiously. I'm straight edge, and I'm not annoying about it. You do whatever you want. I don't care, but I'm straight edge. So I don't do anything. Neil dabbles in the DV. Yeah, I used to kind of say I was very fringe, but I don't know. I've been on a lot of stuff, so I guess I should just accept I'm part of the dabble. But Latanya is a nice lady there in Vegas town. Viva Las Vegas. I haven't been to Vegas in years. I went to Vegas when I was 24. Jesus, that's half my life ago. It's 25 years ago. That's crazy. Yeah, I haven't been there for 25 years. Been to Atlantic City and lots of local casinos, but I haven't been to Vegas for a long time. Do you live in like actual Vegas, like in the where, like, you know what I mean? Do you like live on, like, I'm not saying you live on the strip, but like, do you live in actual like Las Vegas where all the gambling's going down? So like I said, I don't know where everyone's watching. I know some people are on Facebook or whatever, but so this is streaming on Without Your Head, the horror site, and In Your Head, the wrestling site, two different ones. It's also there's two different chats going. There's one in there's like the widescreen one, and then there's the phone version, and I think the phone version is kind of blowing up. I don't know. Who knows? Whatever. I don't care. As long as you're watching, have a good time. That's all that matters. So I will be back soon. Tomorrow for In Your Head Wrestling. Sunday night, I'll be live with Earl Skakel reviewing AEW pay-per-view. That'll be both on IYH Wrestling, the wrestling site. And then for the horror world, I think I might pop on sometime either Friday or Saturday to do something or other. And then Thursday, we will be live with New Fears Eve. It's a new horror film. It's streaming, so go look that up. And we will have the directors of the movie on the show. A dabbler, this Jones fellow. I don't know. If people were dying for it, I would do a Dabbleverse show. Once. Just like a one-time deal. I don't think anyone wants to hear it. But, all right. We will be, I'll see you guys. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. God bless. Have a good time with your friends, your family, your loved ones. And I consider you all my friends and family. Dave Deadman out there, good man, Werewolf of Sicily, the Vagina Wrinkle. Day is a new friend here, a new family member. And all of you, Latanya, hope you stick around. We'll talk to you soon. Unbanned Josh Denny fan. I mean, for years, this guy is just like, every time I show up, he's like, get the fuck out of here, you asshole. But I think we've turned over a new leaf now. I think we're tight. We're BFFs. My close personal friend, unbanned Josh Denny. Good night, all. And to all, a good night. All right.